Shalom, y'all. Traffic stopped me for 2 hours, man. So we doing a short camp tonight. I'll probably put up a lesson this week. Yeah, but let's go ahead and get this started, right? Yeah, we're gonna do a short lesson tonight. So there ain't gonna be nothing too crazy. But let me get this stuff out. Alright. Have to look through my notes, get a shorter lesson, and we're gonna get started, alright? Man, I had a long lesson for y'all today because it was just gonna be me, so that's cool. We're gonna go ahead and do a lesson today. It's gonna be over. Who is Yahushai and what did he order us to do? Right? Because when Yahushai came in the flesh, he didn't come to bring any new commandments. Right? He came to drill home all the commandments of old that we were given as a nation. So let's go into this lesson today because we don't got a lot of time, right? So we're going to go ahead and start with Deuteronomy 18 and 15 through 19. Because we need to understand that the prophecy of Yahushai goes all the way back to the Old Testament. Right? A lot of people think that so-called Jesus Christ first showed up in the New Testament. That's not true, right? If you're familiar with the prophecies in Deuteronomy, you would know that a prophet would be risen up, and if you didn't believe on him, there'd be consequences. Well, let's read that here in Deuteronomy. This is Deuteronomy, chapter 18 and verse 15. The Lord thy God will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee, of thy brethren, like unto me. Unto him he shall hearken, according to all that thou desirest of the Lord thy God in Horeb, in the day of the assembly, saying, let me not hear again the voice of the Lord my God, neither let me see this great fire any more, that I die not. So, when it's talking about another prophet being risen up, like unto this individual who went up to Mount Horeb to speak face to face to the Lord, this is talking about another prophet being risen up like Moses. Right? Now, we know that there have been many prophets, but there have been great and major prophets. For instance, of course, Moses, Elijah, John the Baptist. Yahushai sang the praises of John the Baptist, saying of all the prophets, there hasn't risen a greater prophet than John the Baptist. So there have been some major prophets that have risen up, that have been like unto Moses, especially when it comes to John the Baptist. But let's keep going. Verse 17, and Yahweh said unto me, they have well spoken that which they have spoken. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee, and I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. And it shall come to pass that who will not, or whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of them. So, what you have is the prophecy of the prophet that would rise up from amongst the Israelites, having the word of God in his mouth, and if you do not believe on him, it will be required of you from the Most High God. Now, we know that stumbling stone that was placed in Zion was Yahushua, the man who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Right? But let's go further into this lesson to see exactly who this man is. And while he was here, what did he implore us to do? Because a lot of times our people have no idea of who Yahushua or Jesus Christ, the individual, was. What he said while he was in the flesh, while he was with us. So let's keep going. But we got some people coming up. Y'all got time for the Bible tonight? 2 minutes? Thou says. See, they look to be Filipino. A lot of our people are over in the Philippines. The Ruta de la Plata. A lot of so-called Mexicans got moved over there. See, but if they ain't got the time to stop, man, they ain't got the time to teach you. So let's keep moving in the spirit. All right? So we're going to go ahead and go to Isaiah 61 and 1 through 8. Right? For those who don't know, Isaiah 61 is what Yahushua was reading from when he stood up in the synagogue to read the Torah. Isaiah 61 has his mission statement in it. The whole reason why Yahushua was sent to redeem the Israelites is all here in Isaiah 61. So let's go ahead and read verses 1 through 8. This is Isaiah chapter 61 and verse 1. The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because the Lord hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prisons to them that are bound. That should sound real familiar. Sounds a little bit like Luke 4. And if the precept here that's pre-written in the Bible is to be believed, Luke 4 and 18, right? Sounds real familiar. See, that's why when so-called Christians, and I say so-called, because real Christians, they do as Christ did. You got time for the Bible, brother? Hell yeah.
I'm trying to get a bus ticket right quick.
Okay.
To Austin.
Austin, how much it cost?
We gotta get a good look online and check. Yeah, God is good. God is real, bro. I've been through the struggle. I just walked all the way from Austin in there, bro. They get off the dope.
Damn.
Yeah, God is real. Yeah, he'll make you move. He'll find you.
Okay, all praises.
Yeah.
Well, brother, do you know who you are in the Bible?
I mean, Christ is son.
Well, everybody's not a son of Christ.
Well, now again, been baptized and got the top of ties on there.
So I want to read this to you. I'm recording right there. So I'm going to read to this brother the mission statement of Christ in the Bible. It's in Isaiah 61, right? This is Isaiah 61 and 1. The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because the Lord hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound. Who are the people in prisons?
Don't got their soul tied up together.
So in the Bible, God has a special people, right? Who are those people? The Israelites, right? Okay, cool. So when Christ was on the earth, who was ruling over the Israelites? The Romans. That's one of the reasons why he was reading this in the synagogue, to let them know the Messiah, the man of destiny and prophecy, he was that man. Basically, he was fulfilling that prophecy at that very same time when he read it. He said, basically, I'm on the scene. I'm here. Right? But I want to read this to you, and then we're going to go right back to this. This is Isaiah 42 and 22. But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. Well, what people on the planet today are in prison? But what race of people? What times? Black and blue, Hispanic, and Native Indians. A lot of our brothers don't know the Native Indians get thrown in jail a lot. It's just ain't a lot of them left.
Yeah.
So wherever they at, the white man put them in jail, right? So, but this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. They are for prey and none delivered. For a spoil.
Which white people?
Well, it's not just the rich white people.
I mean, not, you know what I mean?
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But guess what? It ain't just white folks.
Mexicans, blacks, everybody rich. Really.
Nah, we're the ones who broke, brother. What are you
I'm
talking about?
talking about the message.
You talking about the Bible, right? Well, what if I told you the Bible's not for everybody? Well, who is it for? Let me read this, and I'm going to tell you who it's for, okay? But for a spoil and none save restore. So despite us being thrown in prison, us going through 400, 500 years of slavery, them taking everything from us, they call us lazy, and they don't want to restore what they owe us, right? So we're those people. We're the Israelites, blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians. We are the real Israelites. But I want to show you, the Bible isn't for everybody, and I'm going to prove it with the Bible, right? Because as far as you've been taught, anybody can accept Christ, right? So I'm going to show you a few things I want you to know, brother, before you walk away from here.
I'm trying to get blessed.
You try? Okay. Cool. Let me read this.
I'm walk with this.
Well, is it possible for you to get a price? How much you need?
You got to check online. It's only like $15.
15? Because all I got is 10. Yeah, I'll get it to you. Hold up.
But look, bro, God is real.
Yeah, he is.
No, I'm saying it because the struggle I've been through. You know, the addiction. You know, losing my mom, you know, my dad, and, you know, not having no hope, not having no guide, no direction. You know, not having, you know, he said here, you know, he said, I would never, he said,
You'll never leave or forsake me.
no, I'm about to sing a song like, you know, he said, when you didn't have nobody, I was there. You know what I mean? When nobody showed up, I came. When nobody heard you, I was listening. Like, you know what I mean?
I understand.
But I've been through that, like, nobody, I don't have nobody. I started praying. And then, you know, fellowship, people like you started. You know, and then start my faith something better and better.
Okay.
And better and better. Like knowing that, you know, just hold still and let the Lord fight for you. He's gonna make the way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just gotta have strong faith. You know, you can't go half step. You know what I mean? If you wanna just like you wanna change your life, you can't half step. You gotta go all the way in. Just like your faith.
Okay.
You got a whole lot of faith and keep that. You gotta stay like that. Like, just like your energy. You know, if you got a lot of energy, keep that same energy as your faith.
So you love God, right? Okay. Well, before I give you the 10, I want to show you something, right? And do you mind just... Well, yeah, no, I don't. But I said I want to give you a little bit so I can make sure you're closer to your goal, all right, brother? But I want you to read this with me. Oh, no. Well, I mean, but I do lessons every Saturday right here.
Okay, well, maybe when I get back home, maybe we could join something, do something. Because I'm on the streets, too, so I need this.
Well, any Saturday, if you're downtown at 5:30, right here.
Yeah, you know, that's not how it works.
What's your name, brother?
Deshaun.
Deshaun?
Yeah.
I'm Haya L. You can say Kyle. It's the same thing. Nice to meet you as well. But I want to read this to you, right? Because you love God. So this is 1 John 2 and 3. And hereby we do know that we know him if we keep his commandments.
Right.
He that saith, I know him and keepeth not his commandments is a liar, and the truth is not in him.
Right. You know, keeping your commandments, not lying, not stealing, not robbing, not adultery, it's 10 of them.
Yeah, the idol is no God before God, or no other God before the Most High.
Right.
I get what you're saying, but what if I told you there's 613 laws? Now you see why brothers like me need to be out here. Because I know where you learned that from. You learned that from the Christian church.
Well, I don't even go to church.
But who told you that in the beginning? Your parents?
The Bible, just going through things, bro. I'm learning all this on my own.
Okay, well, I'm talking about the 10 Commandments. Where'd you learn that
Oh,
from?
the 10 Commandments.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Okay, at school. But the thing is, though, the real Israelites were under 613 commandments. Like, not eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. Those are commandments. You see what I'm saying? So, if no one's here to tell you how to keep the commandments, how do you love God? Now you see why we have to be out here to let our people know it's not just 10, 613.
Just to be like him.
Yeah.
He was that good.
Yeah. Like, his real name is Yahusha. Yahusha. They call him Jesus Christ, but the letter J is only 500 years old. In the Hebrew, it's Yahusha. But even in the New Testament, he celebrated the Passover. That's a commandment. But that's not part of the 10 Commandments.
Right.
But what should you do if you want to be Christ-like? You need to keep the Passover.
Yeah.
These things that I'm wearing on my shirt, these are fringes. Numbers 15 and 38. It's a commandment. Now you see what I'm saying. Now, actually, if I read this to you, would you keep that commandment? Wearing the fringes, I'll give you some. Yeah, I'll give you some. Because my whole goal, brother, is not just to have our people do better financially. I want to get the kingdom of heaven. Yeah, and we're not going to make it. Hey, how you doing, sister? Hey, I'm happy to see you, Tim. And bro. But the only way we're gonna get the kingdom is if we keep the commandments, right?
Right.
So I'm gonna show you here. So we're gonna go to Numbers 15 and 38. And then I'm gonna run and get that 10 real quick. If y'all just watch my camera, I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'll see them.
That's good,
Hey,
bro.
it's something, man.
Yeah. Don't, and plus, God will get you back for that, man.
I'm at work.
Hey, all praises.
Get your head cut off. That's like not being loyal to you, know what I mean?
Yeah.
Real.
It's treason. Yeah,
Yeah.
amongst your people, you ain't supposed to steal from your brothers.
There's no loyalty.
That's right, man. But this is Numbers 15 and 38. Speak unto the children of Israel and bid.
I need a Bible.
You need one? I got you, man. Hold up.
I'll be a fool to go get him done.
Let me give you one, bro.
That's what I did do.
Sure. There you go.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Got one now. But
I feel that much power.
hey, this is the sword, brother. But this is Numbers 15 and 38. Speak unto the children of Israel and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue. That's why you'll see here I have the little tassels here, and then I got the blue.
Yeah.
But you can put it on the corners where you have 4 tassels that go on the corners. I can give you those tassels right now.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Where they at? Right? Because my whole goal is to bring our people closer to keep the commandments so we can get them back.
Hey, I'm on that train.
Yes, sir. But
I'm over there by Houston. Wow.
it's wild everywhere now. I hear nothing but sirens where I live at. Wrong. I bet you, on the way back from Austin. Yeah,
All the
you
way
did.
up here.
Yeah. Walking to San Antonio from Austin. Yeah.
No, Austin to San Antonio.
Yeah, but I know you passed. You talking about the street or you talking about the city? All the way from Austin.
No, look, I walk from Austin, Texas, to here.
Yeah, so you passed by New Braunfels. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But what you do is you just clip them on the corners of your shirt or on your pants, and that satisfies that commandment. That's right. And when you draw near to the Most High God, He draws near to you. Right? I want to show you this, and then I'm gonna run and grab that 10 for you, so because I know the bus.
I'm not in the rush.
Okay, because I don't want you to miss the bus. So let me know if you gotta go.
Oh, you talking about the rail?
Yeah.
Yeah, rail, see.
Okay. But I don't want you to miss it though.
No, this should be like a month.
Okay. Come. Let me show you.
But I'm coming back this month because I'm just trying to, you know, me and go see my people or something.
Okay.
Doing one of these ministries. Still playing my life. I got a girl as well, you know what I mean? Think I'm out here for everybody else.
Actually, man.
I'm out here for me.
Yeah. If you're looking for a group to join,
Get on my feet.
But I'm going to show you this, right? This is Leviticus 26 and 40. If they shall confess their iniquity, or confess the iniquity of their fathers, which their trespass, which they trespass against me, and that they have walked contrary unto me, and that I have also walked contrary unto them, and have brought them into the land of their enemies. If then their uncircumcised hearts be humble, and they then accept of the punishment of their iniquity, then will I remember my covenant with Jacob, and also my covenant with Isaac, and also my covenant with Abraham, and I will remember, and I will remember the land. So, in other words, if we keep the commandments, and we confess our faults to the Most High God, He'll remember us. He'll have mercy on us. That's deep, ain't it? But here's the thing. I told you there's 613 commandments. If you only keep 10 of them, how you supposed to bridge that gap? That means you got to keep more of them. So if you're wearing them, they're called tzitzits, right? If you're satisfying the commandment of wearing the fringes and the tzitzits, that's one more commandment where that gap is a little closer.
Yeah. I got 500 left.
Yeah, you got a couple left. But most of them you already keep, brother.
Yeah, I don't.
You know what I'm saying? You ain't stealing from nobody, you ain't killing nobody, you ain't raping nobody. Those are commandments. But the thing is, though, now that you know that there's more, search these scriptures, man. The first 5 books of the Bible is where the law gonna be at. Make sure you read that.
Yeah, I read all the time.
All praises, man. But do you have any
Yeah, I
questions?
be locked up. Be locked up a lot. That's on day.
Okay. What do you get caught for? Well, the Bible says, when your ways please the Lord, He maketh your enemies to be at peace with you. See what I'm saying? So if your ways aren't pleasing the Lord, you got to remember. Actually, I want to show you this. Actually, it's in Romans. I believe Romans 11. Because see, the reason why you keep getting jammed up, brother, is the Most High trying to get your attention. You know what I'm saying? And he gets your full attention when you can't do nothing in lockup.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It goes essentially like authorities are terror and good works. There it is. This is Romans chapter 13 and verse 3. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. So that cop that ride by, if you doing what's righteous in the eyes of the Lord, you ain't got nothing to be afraid of. But if you being wicked, you breaking the commandments, you best believe you gonna find a reason to stop him. He gonna walk right to you. Well, what if I told you he the sword of the Lord? Yeah. Because why do you think our people were brought into slavery? The curses, right? Now we gonna go ahead and read this in the Bible. Because when you understand how we got brought into slavery and who's over us, then you'll really start to understand when you get jammed up by, say, the white man, he come pressing you. When that happens, you'll realize that you could have kept the commandments and avoided it. Right? This is Deuteronomy 28 and 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all these commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. I'm going to show you some of these curses, right? This is verse 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. So as long as the real Israelites don't keep the commandments, these curses that I'm about to read to you, they're going to be on us, right? This is verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck, until he have destroyed thee. When did we have yokes of iron on our neck? You're a slave, right? But when they took those yokes of iron and the chains off of us, how many of us said, let's get this damn devil, let's fight? Very few. How many black folks today actually will raise their hand and say, you know what, I'm sick of these damn devils, I'm sick of these crackers? Well, you are, but how many of our people are? Very few. Most of our people buck dancing and crooning. I mean, let's be real about it.
That ain't
Let's be real about it, right? But the reason why that is, I'm going to show you. It's another curse. So this is going to be verse 25. And the Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them, and shalt be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. So once upon a time, brother, we were the ones ruling in Europe and all over the earth. We were the ones in rulership. And we didn't keep the laws of God, so guess what the Most High God did? He took the white man and brought him out of the cave. You got to remember, when the white man first came out of the cave in about 449 AD, he didn't even know how to wear clothes. He didn't know how to bathe. He didn't have a spoken or written language. They were grunting. The Most High God rose them up and had them take us out of power. And then they put us in slavery. So when it says that we're going to serve our enemy in one of all things, that's literally what this is talking about. When you want something to drink, you got to buy it from them. The white man, how about something to eat? You got to buy it from one of your enemies, right? Verse 49, the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young. Don't that sound like what the white man did to us in slavery? Didn't matter if you was old with a cane. If you could hobble your ass out to the cotton field, yeah, get out there and work. If you was 3 years old, you didn't even know how to form words. Yeah, but if you could walk, they would give you a bag and say, hey, you need to at least get a handful of cotton a day. You know what I'm saying? So this nation, yeah, but this nation of fierce countenance, they're called our enemies in the Bible. Now I have a question. Does God have enemies? Yeah. Okay. Now where is that in the Bible though? It is. Okay. Now I'm gonna show it to you, brother. I'm gonna show it to you. It's right here in Psalms 8. Alright? Now I'm teaching you how to read the Bible here. It's called precept upon precept.
Okay. Well, if you know something, that's cool. But I'm just trying to make sure that you know whenever you read the Bible, you don't read it from cover to cover. You don't read it like chapter or verse 1 all the way to verse whatever. That's cool. Well, I mean, and you know what, brother? If you read it, make sure you get understanding. That's all I'm trying to say. You know what I'm saying? All praise, right? But this is Psalms 83 and 1. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their hand. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy enemies. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more remembered. So literally, the white man, the Arab man, the African man, they ain't our people. We're not African. When we were on the west coast of Africa, we were only there because they kicked us out of Jerusalem in 70 AD. We were fleeing persecution, and we settled in North and West Africa. So the native African, they hate us. Do you know what they call us, brother? Well, they think we're weak, but you know what they call us? They call us Nkata. That means cotton picker. That's why out of all the nations on the planet, you would assume the African man would have came over and got us. We're their brothers, right? And we've been getting abused. But they ain't over here because they're not our people. Right? For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against the tabernacles of Edom. The Edomites are the so-called white men. Right? And the Ishmaelites. Have you ever talked to an Arab at a gas station? Right? Whenever you talk to them, ask them, do you go back to Ishmael? And you know what they're going to tell you? Yep. The Arab man knows he goes back to Ishmael. He admits it. That's why they believe in something called the Quran. You know about Islam. Have you ever heard of Islam, Muhammad and all that? Yeah, but Muhammad is supposed to be an Ishmaelite or an Arab like them. And they say that he was the last prophet after Jesus Christ. But the thing is, the Bible says the prophethood is only for the Israelites. So what does that make him? A false prophet. That's why we tell our people not to believe in Islam. Because that's another idol for our people to bow down to. Right? Of Moab, the Moabites are who you would call the Chinese. Right? And the Hagarenes, the sons of Hagar. But if you read Psalms 83 on your own time, you can look up all these different nations in the Bible. All praise, right? So you know we got enemies, and you know those enemies have us serving them in one of all things. But I want to read one of the prophecies that would happen to us that has happened to the northern nation of the planet. Right? This is Deuteronomy 28 and 16. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. So, if we're being sold into Egypt again, what were we doing in Egypt the first time as Israelites? Well, what was Moses leading us out of Egypt for? Because we were enslaved to the Egyptians. Remember Exodus in the Bible? So he was leading us out of captivity. The Most High God promised that we don't keep the commandments that we would go back into slavery. Now, he also said that we would be sold as bondmen and bondwomen to our enemies. Well, who were we sold to here in America? To the white man, right? Now, did you know that the white man had other lesser slave trades going on with the other nations? He had a lesser trade going on in the Philippines from Mexico. But it wasn't just the so-called British white man. You had the Dutch, you had the Spanish, you had the Portuguese, you had the Australians enslaving the Aboriginals down in Australia. Brother, I have to come out here and teach, man. Got to make sure our people know who we are while we out here in this condition. Because, brother, you the king walking the earth, man. We the real royalty. I want to show you. I want to prove it to you. Okay. It's probably closer to 8. It's about 7. About 7. Right. I'm not going to hold you up too much longer, brother. But I just want to show you a few things. Yes, sir. That's why I'm out here, brother. Got to make sure our people know. want to show you, right, that it's not just, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? Great, great. I'm just about to bring out a little bit of history to point out the likeness and the rulership of Europe. Right, so yeah, man, listen in. So, this is a book called The Memoirs of the Secret Service of John Mackey. He was a spy in the court of, I believe, the Stuart dynasty, like Charles II, King James V. He was a spy. And what he was doing, he was writing down the likeness and behavior of everybody in the court. He described what they looked like, right? This is, I don't know how to say that, Montague, Venables. He was an Earl of Abingdon, right? But he's described as a man of black complexion and past 40 years old. This is a royal member of the court of the Stuart dynasty. He's a black man. Now, if you go through this book, it describes a lot of these people as being black, dark complexion, right? There's somebody in particular that I want to pick, because he's a son of King James, and he's described as being black. Once, I haven't gone through this book twice. So here you have another man who's described as being black complexion, right? You have the Earl of Kingston. Well, who lives in Kingston today? That's London, ain't it? Kingston. That's a subdivision. Yeah. But who lives there predominantly? Black people. Jamaicans from the tribe of Benjamin. Now, what if I told you that once upon a time, most of them people were in Ireland and Scotland? Now, why when you go down to Jamaica today, you see people with the last name McElroy, McLeod? That's because those were their original names. They're the original Scots and Brits. And then we, the nation of Judah, we were the original Brits as well. You know what I'm saying? We were the original French. We were the original European. What does Europa mean? See, the thing is, there's all these words and these names, and they never tell you the meaning of it. But Europa actually goes back to a black African figure, royalty. So what? Well, loyalty amongst our own people. But why would the people who took us over, why would they tell the truth about who's who regarding the history, right? What if I told you that something, oh, you dropped one of your tassels. That's fine. I'm gonna read this to you, because I know you said you wanted to look more into the history of the Bible, right? I didn't forget about that, so I want to read to you the book of Daniel, where it should. I would assume that I was so no, I understand. But, well, but brother, keep fighting, man. Hey, but every time you think it's hard, give praise to the Most High. That's how you do it, man. And to anybody watching, if you're dealing with any type of vice, it don't matter if it's drugs, eating pork, breaking the Sabbath. If you need strength, pray to the Most High God. If it's in His will, He will give you that strength to get over whatever is blocking you, right? But I want to show you, right? Because the Bible tells us that our enemies have been trying to paint over our images, right? This is 1 Maccabees chapter 3 and verse 48. And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images. So, do you know about the Judas Maccabees, all the Maccabean brothers? Okay, well, when the Israelites had got dominated by the Greeks, you had some Levites, the Maccabean family. They stood up and they led a rebellion against the Greeks. So we retook our temple, and when we went into the temple, there was a Bible that had pictures in it. And they opened that Bible. They laid open the book of the law, and they saw in that book that the heathen were trying to paint over the faces and make them white, make them look like the Greeks. That's why when you look at an image of Jesus Christ, what you see? A white man looking like a hippie. But the thing is, that's their effort to paint over our likeness and to erase us. Remember, I read to you in Psalms 83 that they've been leading an effort to cut us off from being a people. You're going into slavery, dude. See, that's that very same white man I just told you about, walking around on stolen land. Now, and guess what? Her ass gonna be picking cotton beside Derek in the damn cotton field. Derek is gonna be picking cotton. Yeah, I'll be here. I'll be here. Ernest, I'll be here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll have that Daniel waiting on you too. Right? And brother, I want to prove to you, right? Because I know what I said seems very harsh. But you need to understand the man ignorantly known as Jesus Christ. I'm sorry?
I'm worried about this. But, what was you saying?
But I was about to say, the man ignorantly known as Jesus Christ is not coming back to make peace with the very same people who've been enslaving his children. Right? This is Isaiah 63:1. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? Basra is the capital city of Edom, the land where the white man originated from. Right? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness mighty to save. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, in thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat? So Isaiah is seeing a vision of Christ, and he's covered in red. He's covered in blood, right? I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. So what I said to that wicked devil walking by on stolen land, that pales in comparison to what Christ is going to do when he returns. He's going to destroy them people. But brother, let me go get that 10 for you. I'll be right back. No, I'm going to go get it because I want you to have it. All right? I'll just chill for this.
You don't know what's the word.
No, I don't have my keys, man. I got to make sure I don't go over there for nothing.
You can't let the devil get you like that, man.
Come on.
You can't let the devil get you like that.
Yeah, you right. You right.
He ain't up to jump on your back, man.
No, you ain't jump on my back. Just, I want to make sure you're straight, bro.
I'm straight. I'm breathing.
Okay.
But
You want more word?
that's your word, though.
Huh?
That's your word, you know what I mean?
Okay. So you don't want the 10?
You want to say you gonna get to it?
I'll give it to you after your more Bible. Okay, is that cool? Or how much time do you have?
Yeah, I don't got too much time.
Okay, so let me go get it. That way you'll have it. All right. I'll be right back.
Nah, I'm just trying to check see how much you hit off.
Sweater.
I'm in a sweater too, it's cold.
Hey, I'm trying to get off. God bless you.
God bless you as well, man. Do you know God's real name?
Yeah.
What is it?
Mama.
No,
Mama.
no. That's Islam, brother. That's not your God's name. God's name is Yahweh.
Oh, yeah.
Yahweh. 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 So that's Paleo Hebrew. Right? I want to show you. This is actually how you write God's name. This is God's name in the Paleo Hebrew. That's Yah, Ha, and then Wah, and then Ah again. But you put those two together at the end. That's how you read Hebrew. From right to left. So that's how we get Yahweh. And then you have Yahweh Shah, right? Yah, Ha, Wah, and then Shah. Right?
You need expect it to be big, bro.
Yeah, I write small, bro. I don't know what it is. I write real small. But when you pray to the Most High God, pray to the Most High God in the name of His Son, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh.
I like to do tongues. Pray in tongues.
Well,
Pray in tongues.
you want me to read in the Bible where if you don't know what it means, I wouldn't do that?
Yeah,
you don't pray in tongues.
Okay.
That's how you really get the blessing, you know what I mean? That's how you understand the blessing.
Now, what tongue do you use?
Whatever you come up with your mind, it don't even matter.
Now, I want to show you, right? Because whenever we say something, we got to prove it out in the scriptures. All right? So we're going to go to...
But that scripture's head right, though, you know what I mean? God didn't write it. Somebody else wrote it.
Well, I mean, but who was God working with to write it?
I'm thinking you. I don't think you. I think somebody else wrote it.
Well, of course.
It's rewritten.
Well, somebody wrote it, yeah. But didn't God inspire them to write it?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? So how are you keeping the commandments there?
Just being straight, being doing the right thing.
Well, brother, how are you supposed to come to know your God if there's nothing to learn from Him?
Trials and tribulations. If you put you through the struggles, then you don't find God finds you. You don't find God.
Well, brother, God chose a certain group of people.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Well, yeah, I know you know what I'm saying. But
My relationship with God is going through the struggle. That's how I got my relationship.
now I have to say this, brother. So I have to ask, how has that been working for you?
Oh, it's working wonderful. It's got me out of addiction. It got me
Okay.
to a different place. You know what I mean? So it's working.
But here's
But
the
having faith.
But here's the thing. I
Can't play it up.
recognize that you want to keep the commandments. That's why the Most High God is improving your life.
Yeah.
But
So-
but before you had that drive to keep the commandments, it wasn't working so well.
It wasn't. I had no belief, no faith in God.
But that's what I'm trying to say. This is where you're gonna get the commandments from, bro. Don't turn away from the book.
I know. I ain't working.
That's why I wanted to tell you, King James is a black man. Because the only thing he didn't write the Bible. He took documents like the Textus Receptus, Latin Vulgate. These are all old documents and parchments. And he had translators called the Masoretes. They took all those different sources and they translated the Bible. So don't turn away from the book. But and that's why I keep trying to tell you, keep more and more commandments. So the Most High God can keep elevating you, brother. Because I see you got a spirit of I can't be conquered on you. And that's a good thing to have. But make that work for your better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, hey, that's real.
Yeah, let the Most High God work with you.
Come on, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you been preaching though. You been getting into it.
Hey, brother, I got to, man. I love my people, man.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah, I love my people, bro. But
That's deep.
I want to show you something, right? Because this is what you're aspiring for. You want a kingdom that's better than this.
But first, I'm sorry to interrupt. Go back and hit that tongue stuff.
The tongues? Okay.
Let him know
Yeah,
about
you're right.
the tongue.
You're right. Let's do things decently and in order, right? You're right about that. Because I do want you to know, brother, when you talk to God, make sure that you choose your words very carefully. Because you're talking to the creator of all things.
Amen.
So when you come to God, come correct. You know what I'm saying?
Anybody.
So this is 1 Corinthians 14. You know, we're going to start at 5. Actually, you know what? Let's start at 2. For he that speaketh in an unknown tongue speaketh not unto men, but unto God. For no man understandeth him. Howbeit in the spirit he speaketh mysteries. Now, your intention when you're speaking in your tongues to the Most High God, he knows exactly what you mean. But here's the thing. You might not know what you mean. Now, when you're talking to the Most High God, don't you want mutual understanding of what you're saying? Then make sure you talk to him in a way that you understand too, bro. Now, if he puts it in your spirit to say something, while you're in your private area between you and God, that's between you and him. But when you're just coming to God, say, hey, you know, in the name of your son Yahweh Shai, I'm just coming to you to give you thanks, to ask for patience and forgiveness. Those types of things. Make sure you speak plainly unto the Most High. Because you don't want to say something that's in error, and now all of a sudden you're going to get jammed up. So the Most High God got to set you straight. Because that's happened to me before. You praying for something, and you don't need it, but you want it. And the Most High God give it to you, and it wreck your life.
Yeah, being disobedient.
Con. When I say con, I mean right. That's Hebrew for right. You know what I'm saying?
Go
But-
down to.
Well, no, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going here. But verse 3. But he that prophesieth speaketh unto men to edification and exhortation and comfort. He that speaketh in an unknown tongue edifieth himself, but he that prophesieth edifieth the church. So what he's saying is, say like right here, you say you got the Spirit, you're going to speak in tongues. Well, if nobody here can understand it, ain't no points. It's only for you. You got that. Cool. Now he's saying that's common sense. That brother's right on that. You know how many of our people in the church swear that they speak in tongues and it means something? You see what I'm saying? So you got to be careful with that, because a lot of our people, they think when they speak in tongues, that means that God is dealing with them on a more personal level. And a lot of times that's not true. Right? Verse 5. I would that ye all spake with tongues, but rather that ye prophesied. For greater is he that prophesieth than he that speaketh with tongues, except he interpret, that the church may receive edification. So the prophecies of the Bible, like the beast with the 7 heads and the 10 horns, knowing how to break down that prophecy is far more important than you speaking in tongues. Why? And now, why did he say that? Because to understand the prophecies means what? You got to study this book, in and out, backwards and forwards. You got to be in this book day and night to understand those prophecies. Now, I want to show you this as well. Did you know God reveals his secrets unto his servants, the prophets? That's why knowing how to break down prophecy, that means the Most High God is definitely dealing with you, right? It's in the book of Amos. Yeah, man. As long as you stand here, brother, we're gonna go all over this book, man.
Hey,
What's up?
hey, you all right?
What, sweating?
Yeah.
I'm hot, man. I'm gonna take this off. I know. I should put this damn thing. I want to show you, brother. So this is Amos 3 and 7. Surely the Lord God will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets. Now, who are his prophets? That's a prophet, but what group of people on the planet are the prophets? Well, the Israelites. If you know who the Israelites are, you know who the Most High God is dealing with. So I'm going to read 2 things to you to prove it, right? This is Amos 3 and 1. Hear this word that the Lord hath spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for your iniquities. So God is declaring through his prophet Amos, only the Israelites has he ever known. So if you have another group of people who aren't Israelites, is God dealing with them? No. Right? But here's the thing. You say it's common sense, but it's not. Most of our people think God loves everybody. No, we don't.
He created everybody.
He created everybody, but he didn't create them to love them. So that's why we read. Because now what I'm doing, brothers, I'm just giving you more information that the Bible has on the Most High. Yeah, there ain't nothing wrong with that. And this is to any of the brothers and sisters who watch these videos and get offended.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. But brother, I've had people try to fight me because I tell them, hey, God don't love everybody, and it's in the Bible. It's childish, but it's selfish. Because they want to love everybody and God don't, so now they want to fight somebody telling them what God thinks according to the Bible. It's crazy. So I want to ask you, right? If God loved a group of people, would he wipe them out and exterminate them? No, right? Okay, cool. This is Obadiah 1 and 18. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau, remember the Edomites? The house of Esau for stubble. And they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Most High God has spoken. So the way the kingdom of heaven is going to work, brother, is after all these heathen nations pay their debt back to the Israelites for enslaving us, all the heathen are going to go back to their respective lands and live in peace, except for one nation. What nation do you think that is walking around here today? Well, I mean, who's done the most raping, robbing, and murder on the planet? Whites. White people. Well, okay, that's cool. But let's go down the list. How did they take America? How did the white man get America? He raped, robbed, and murdered. How about Mexico?
That's like them.
Well, yeah. I mean, but the devil has a chosen people too. Just like God has a chosen people.
Yeah,
The devil has a chosen
Yeah,
people.
the devil can bless you too.
But that's true. But didn't the white man get the blessing by doing devilish works? By killing people, raping people? Well,
But I'm sorry. They both get blessings. But see, our blessings are for eternity. Theirs is just for a little.
well, the kingdom of heaven is for eternity, right? Our blessings are conditional. If we keep God's commandments, he puts us above all nations. If we break his commandments, he puts us on the bottom, right? So you have the Edomites, God is going to wipe out forever using the hand of his people Israel. Now, I'm going to go a little further in the Bible and I'm going to show you that the Most High God hates the Edomites, specifically. And I'm going to show you in the Old Testament and I'm going to show you in the
I
New
don't know if I
Testament.
got time for all that.
Okay, I'll show you this one thing. That'll be it, right? This is Malachi 1:1. The burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord? Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return to build in desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down.
Hey, you do be preaching though. You be on it. I ain't gonna lie to you.
And they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation or righteous fury forever. God hate them people forever. But he made them to hate them. If I see you again, brother, we gonna go down this, we gonna go over all the milk. I'm gonna get you built up, man. So you gonna have, your Bible will look like my Bible by the time you're done.
I want it to be like that.
All praises, man. But brother, be safe out here. Be safe. You people too. Deshaun, right? All praises,
We're
man.
gonna do Bible study, man.
Right here, man. I'm usually here for about 4 or 5 hours, bro.
You on it. You on it.
But Deshaun, be careful, man.
I am.
You walking from city to city, man, there's a lot going down, brother. And I know you see it all, too.
Oh, yeah.
Be careful, brother.
I know, especially in Austin.
Now, if something happened to you, who you going to call on? What's your God name before you go? Yahweh. Yahweh.
Hey.
Now, what's Jesus' name?
I don't know.
Yahweh Shai. If you can say Yahweh, just add Shai to the end.
Yahweh
Yahweh Shai. Yah. Say it. Yah.
Yeah.
Ha.
Ah.
Wa.
Yeah. Wow.
Shai.
Yeah.
Yahweh Shai. You got it, brother.
I guess, bro.
All praises, man. Be safe, brother. This is how you been. Oh. Are you gonna hear me speak? I can break something. Okay. I had no idea about the service. But, do you have any questions while you're here? My lesson? Okay, cool. So, we're going to go ahead and we're going to just reset the lesson because it's a short one, right? So, today's lesson is who is Yahweh Shai and what did he come to do? What orders did he come to bring? Because, you know, a lot of times people will say Christ came to bring a new law. Love God and then love your neighbor as much as you love yourself. But Christ himself said he came to bring no such new commandments. As a matter of fact, we're going to read this before we get Deuteronomy 18. Because we're going to end up going there first. Right? But we're going to go to Matthew 5. Because it's important to read the words of Christ or Yahweh Shai, right? So that we know for certain whether he came to change the law or he came to leave it as is. So we're going to go to Matthew 5 and 17. Did that thermal word come in handy? All praises. All praises.
Matthew 5.
Yes, and 18. I'm sorry, 17. And we're going to read down to just 19. Yeah, we ain't going to go that far. Right? This is Matthew, chapter 5 and verse 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. So, right off the rip, we see Yahweh Shai is saying, hey, look, man, I didn't come to destroy the law. I came to fulfill the law. Now, if you're familiar with how laws are passed, they're proposed, and then they go to a body to be voted on, whether it's going to be, denied or passed. And then if the law is passed, it gets ratified, meaning it gets put in place. And now you have to keep that law. So say I propose a new law. You can have a pound of weed in your pocket. That's what it's called. And it's in Congress being voted on. Now, what if you get stopped on the street carrying a pound of weed in your pocket? Can you say, hey, there's a law in Congress? Will that work for you? No. Why? It hasn't been passed. That's exactly what Christ is saying here. I came to fulfill the law. Because you had an issue at that time with the scribes and the Pharisees. They were teaching the law to our people. They weren't following it. And in a lot of cases, they were adding on to the law. Right? Have you ever seen those fake Jews? They wear those phylacteries, the little box, the black box on their head. We made that up in one time. They're only keeping those ornamental laws because we converted them. And they've been rolling with what we gave them. But the thing is, they can't keep the laws in the Bible because it wasn't given. So everything that's extraneous to the law, anything that's not thus saith the Lord, they're on top of it. But everything that's thus saith the Lord, they have a problem with. You know they got kosher pork over in Israel? Yeah, kosher pork. It's when they basically pray over the pork and they say it's good to go. They have a rabbi pray over it. And now it's like holy meat. But that's just one example, right? There's many, right? When they do circumcision, you've heard me talk about it before, right? The disgusting practice that they do, where they have the priest suck the member of the baby. Where is that in the Bible? Nowhere. Orthodox Jews do that, and they're on top of it. They keep that ordinance so closely and so tightly that their Orthodox priest could literally have purpose, and they would still let him practice. So he'll be giving babies herpes every time he does a circumcision. And some of the babies die. Because a baby can't take having herpes. They don't have the resistance and the immunity to stop it from just running wild throughout their body. Right? Yeah, that's what the fake Jews do. And they get it from something called the Talmud. Why do you think they're called the synagogue of Satan? Out of all the people on the planet, you only got one group of people called the synagogue of Satan. And it's who is saying they are Jews and they're not. And you know them people are not the real Jews. So what does that make them if they're professing to be the real Jews and they're not? They're the synagogue of Satan, as it says in Revelation 2 and 9. Right? Well, let's continue on here with Matthew 5. Right? Think not that I am come to destroy the law of the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. Verse 18. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one title shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled. So Yahushua is literally saying, till all be fulfilled, not one bit of the law is going to change. So should you eat pork? No. Should you keep a land Sabbath? Yes. All of the ordinances and the commandments of the Old Testament are still in power today. Still. Christ didn't come to change none of that. Man, where's that smoke coming from? I'm tripping. Either way. Now, Yahushua says something very pertinent. Right? He says, whoever teaches men to not keep the least of the commandments, something's going to happen to them. Let's see what he says. Verse 19. Whosoever therefore shall break one of the least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. So, this is a monumental statement by who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Yahushua is literally saying, whosoever teaches men to not only not keep the least of the commandments, but teaches them that it's okay in the eyes of God, that person's going to be the least in the kingdom of heaven. And that's of the Israelites. See, one of the things our people have to understand is the heathen are not mandated to keep the commandments as we are. So if you go to a heathen for spiritual guidance and they mislead you, whose fault is that? It's not the heathen's fault, because you shouldn't be going to the heathen to break down your book. For instance, what if I wanted clarification on whether I should eat pork or not, and I went to Joel Osteen. You know who he is, that white pastor, right? And he told me, hey, you can eat all the pork you want. God told Peter to not call anything he created common or unclean. You can eat anything you want. When you know what that's really talking about. It was talking about people, not animals. Remember we read that? Right? So, if that were to be the case and the heathen misleads you, that's not the heathen's fault. Although they are going to be punished for that. Right? But it's not his fault that he misled you on a book that he has no clarification about. Because the reality is we're the ones who are supposed to have the wisdom and teach them. But let's go ahead and go back to the lesson, right? We're going to go to Deuteronomy 18. Cool. We're going to go to verse 15. And we're going to read down to verse 19. Got it?
Okay, 18 what?
Verse 15, and we're going to read to 19.
I got it.
Cool.
This is Deuteronomy, chapter 18 and verse 15. The Lord thy God will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee, of thy brethren, like unto me. Unto him ye shall hearken, according to all that thou desirest of the Lord thy God in Horeb, in the day of the assembly, saying, let me not hear again the voice of the Lord my God, neither let me see this great fire anymore, that I die not. So this is Moses literally saying that the Most High God is going to raise up a prophet like himself. Now, did Moses come to be the sacrifice for all of our sins in the nation? No. So this prophet that's going to be risen up is not Christ. Now, what are some other great and major prophets that have come about after the time of Moses? Elijah, John the Baptist. I mean, it's arguable, but I would say Isaiah. I mean, damn, like, you know, of course, King David, Solomon. These are great men who have led Israel in some cases, like unto Moses, right? But let's go forward in Deuteronomy. It's going to show you that this prophesies of Yahushua, right? Verse 17, and the Lord said unto me, they have well spoken that which they have spoken. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee, and I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. And it shall come to pass, that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him. So I have a question. Of all the prophets in the Bible, who are you required to believe on to receive salvation? Specifically. Yahushua. That's the only one. So here you have a prophecy of Yahushua all the way back in Deuteronomy. See, that's why when people say Jesus Christ isn't in the Old Testament, that tells you that they don't understand prophecy in the Old Testament. That's why what did Yahushua read when he stood up in the synagogue?
The Old Testament.
The Old Testament. He read Luke 61. Right? And actually, that's the next thing we're going to read. Right? Oh, there. So we're going to go to Luke 61, verses 1 through 8, I believe. Because, see, we have to understand what Yahushua did. No, we're going to Isaiah 61. See, we have to understand that when Yahushua came to do the work of the Lord, to preach the gospel and to redeem his people, he didn't do anything outside of his own will or outside of the will of the Most High and under his own power. Everything that he did was in accordance with the Most High God. Right? This is Isaiah chapter 61 and verse 1. The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because the Lord hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord, and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all that mourn, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion. This is the part that people often omit. He's making an appointment with those who mourn in Zion, meaning the Israelites, right? To give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, and that they might be called trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that he might be glorified. And they shall build the old wastes. They shall raise up the former desolations, and they shall repair the waste cities, the desolations of many generations. And strangers shall stand and feed their your flocks. And the sons of the alien shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers. So not only is this the mission statement of Yahushua, but Yahushua is literally coming to subjugate the heathen, according to this one verse. Because what is a vine dresser? The grapes. So if you have a vineyard with grapes, berries, anything that grows in a vine, or even on a tree, right? If you had slaves, they would be a vine dresser. They would go out and they would pick the fruit and they would bring in the harvest. Now, if the aliens and the strangers are going to be our vine dressers and our plowmen, where's the room for us to be slaves in the field, picking cotton, picking fruit? There is none. See, that's why when people say Christ didn't come in the spirit of division, that tells you that most of the time the opposition that you face is not informed. They've been taught by the same, lean cuisine type doctrine that goes on in the Christian church, where they talk about John 3:16. They'll talk about Galatians 3:28. There is no difference between Jew or Greek. There is no Jew nor Greek or whatever. They'll say things like that. And then they'll go to Malachi 3:8 and tell you to pay your tithe. But they won't go into the words of Yahushua or the prophecies surrounding the Messiah and what he's being sent to do. Because we see here, he's being sent unto those in Zion who mourn. Y'all got time for the Bible? 2 minutes?
Not right now. We're actually running late.
Thou sayest.
No, you love us.
Well, you don't love everybody.
True. I guess that's why he created a hell, right?
I guess, yeah. Yeah, I guess. I mean, hell ain't real, but that's cool too. See, and it's sad, man. Because you see the kids in the Santa Claus shit. Not understanding, I could go to Jeremiah 10 and show him that specifically in the Bible it tells you not to celebrate Christmas. Specifically. But I guarantee it wouldn't slow them down a bit. Because what else are my kids supposed to do? But if I tell them about Passover, Feast of First Fruits, all of these different holidays you're supposed to keep in the Bible. Holidays that you can give gifts on. You can hold feasts. I guarantee you wouldn't change. Because it's not about the holiday. It's about doing his own pleasures. And that goes for a lot of our people. Right? When you tell them not to keep Easter, Easter is the bastardized version of Passover. And it doesn't do anything that Passover tells you to do. Like the Passover lamb, unleavened bread, the Feast of Unleavened Bread for that matter for 7 days. Where you have to get all leaven out of your house and your dwelling. This is just part of Passover. When you eat the Passover lamb, you can't break it in the bones. And whatever you don't eat, you have to burn. Putting the blood on the doorpost of your dwelling. All of those things we're supposed to be doing today. That's why if you go to my apartment right now, there is crusted blood on my doorpost from the Passovers that we've celebrated there. But see, that's the reality of things. Right? But let's keep going with this. I don't want to get too sidetracked. Verse 7. For your shame you shall have double, and for confusion they shall rejoice in their portion. Therefore in their land they shall possess the double everlasting joy, shall be on them, or be unto them. For I the Lord love judgment. I hate robbery for burnt offering, and I will direct their work in truth, and I will make an everlasting covenant with them. What is that covenant that's being spoken of here? Well, no, we already have them. That's the old covenant. The new covenant. Now that new covenant, what are some of the provisions in that covenant? Having God's laws in our inward parts.
Come on, Kelly. I'm gonna go this way.
Right?
Okay.
With the ramp.
If you're not capable of sinning, then you're incorruptible. You can inherit incorruption. How many bodies that are mentioned in 1 Corinthians 15? Remember I read it to you that one time, the new bodies? In order to receive such a vessel, you would have to be capable of not sinning. Now, who was the first fruit to inherit an incorruptible body? If not sinning is the way you get an incorruptible body, who's the one who first accomplished it to get that incorruptible body? Yahweh. So now we're starting to get a glimpse of what he really came to do. It wasn't just to forgive the Israelites or to give us a chance at redemption. That is part of it, and that is the major thing he came to do. But there's a lot of ancillary things that he came to do. To have the laws put in our inward parts, to take away our reproach and our sin. The reproach basically being brought low by the other nations. And our sin being ignorant of the law or being unwilling to follow it altogether. All of those things are going to be taken away because the Most High God is going to put his law in our inward parts. Right? So now that we know some of the mission of Yahweh Shai, let's go on with the lesson. Because we already see that he didn't come to change the law, and he came to set a very particular group of people at liberty. See, you'll hear a lot of these white folks talking about he's coming to save us from debt slavery. But see, the thing is, debt slavery is something that the white man imposed on himself. Because once upon a time, the only people who were under debt slavery were blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians. If there was a white man who was poor or homeless, his brothers would take him in and give him a small portion so he could start over. But see, in these days, the white man has turned his back on everybody, including his own. And as a result, all of these riches that they've raped, robbed, murdered, and pillaged for are in the hands of very few. So now everyone is able. Right? But we're going to go ahead and we're going to roll over to Luke 1:68 through 77. So we're going to get it, I believe, out of the mouth of John the Baptist's father, Zechariah. Right? Because it's important, again, to understand what Yahweh Shai was sent for. This is Luke 1:68. Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, for he hath visited and redeemed his people, his being possessed. Now, just to go over it real quick, who are God's people?
The Jews.
The Jews. Now, that's just the southern kingdom. Ain't the northern kingdom part of our body as well? Yes. So, who would you say God's chosen people are overall? The Israelites. Right? Verse 69. And hath raised up an horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David, as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began, that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us. So let me get this straight. I've always been told in the Christian church that Christ loves everybody. And he came to unite everybody. But we're reading here that he came to separate us from our enemies. Ain't that weird? Ain't he gonna save them too? Of course not. Why would you save the rapist and the victim? How can you save both at the same time? How can I restore your land and allow the people who took your land to stay on it? That doesn't make any sense. Y'all got time for the Bible? 2 minutes? Now says, verse 72, to perform the mercy promised to our fathers, and to remember his holy covenant, the oath which he sware to our father Abraham, that he would grant unto us, that we being delivered out of the hands of our enemies, might serve him without fear, in holiness and righteousness before him, all the days of our life. And thou, child, shalt be called the prophet of the highest, for thou shalt go before the face of the Lord, to prepare his ways, to give knowledge of salvation unto his people, by the remission of their sins. Now that last portion was in direct regard to John the Baptist. Because remember, at the end of Malachi, there was supposed to be someone sent to prepare the way for the Messiah. Remember?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, for those of y'all who are watching who don't remember, we're going to read that right now. Now, you have to understand something, right? Zacharias was in the spirit. And as a matter of fact, I'll just prove it real quick. Verse 67, and his father Zacharias was filled with the Holy Ghost and prophesied saying, and then it goes into what we just read, right?
So we're going to go to Malachi real quick. So let me get this straight. You have this one man, and he's not only prophesying of our coming Messiah, but he's prophesying about the very function and duty that his son is going to fulfill for the Messiah. Right? This is Malachi, chapter 4 and verse 4. Remember ye the law of Moses, my servant, which I commanded unto him in Horeb, for all Israel, with the statutes and judgments. Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to the fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. So now we have affirmation that Deuteronomy chapter 18 and 15 and 16 are directly in regard to John the Baptist. When it says a prophet is going to be raised up like unto Moses, and then it speaks immediately of Elijah and the coming, basically Elijah coming a second time. That's why Yahushua said, if ye shall receive it, John the Baptist is Elijah, because that's who this person is. You want to read that again?
Yeah.
I'll get it again. As a matter of fact, see, this is one of the things that solidifies the argument that there is regeneration, right? You don't just live once. Slaughter. There we go. This is Matthew 11 and 14. And if ye will receive it, this is Elias, which was for to come. Actually, and let me go back one more time. Up. So I'm going to go up to verse 11. All right. Verily I say unto you, among them that are born of women, there hath not risen a greater prophet, or greater than John the Baptist. Notwithstanding he that is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent take it by force. The kingdom of heaven are the Israelites. That's why in Revelations 21, it says the kingdom of heaven descended from the clouds, from the sky. New Jerusalem coming down out of heaven as a bride adorned for her husband, right? But, verse 13, for all the prophets in the law prophesied until John. And if ye will receive it, this is Elias, which was for to come. So you have Yahushua literally saying that John the Baptist is that man that was prophesied to come prepare the way for him. And that man in Malachi who was to prepare the way was Elijah. Little things like this, although it seems very basic, like built scriptures, it's good to know them because more complex things are built on top of it. Now you have an example of what regeneration is. Now, if you need another one, Revelations 1 has another one. Remember where it says, Yahushua will come with clouds, and every eye shall see him, even they who pierced him? Yeah. I'm going to read it again, just to make sure you got it. Ain't nothing wrong with hearing it twice. Most of the time when I'm teaching myself more than I'm teaching you. So. This is Revelations 1 and 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him. Well, I thought the Roman centurion who pierced his side and water came out, I thought he was long gone. He is. He died a long time ago. But how is he going to see him when Christ returns? Regeneration. We're not the only ones who come back. They come back too. So you've got wicked men who come back. Wicked men like Herod. Wicked men like Haman, the Agagite in the book of Esther, that cracker who tried to get all of Israel put to death. He back. See, that's why a lot of times our people wonder, what's motivating some of these damn heathen to be so animated and against us? Why are they so industrious in their wickedness toward the Israelites? Well, what if you found out one of them was literally like Haman the Agagite? What if you found out he was Herod? What did Herod want to do when he found out that the Messiah might be born? What do you want to do?
Kill all the firstborn.
That's right. He wanted to kill all the firstborn, specifically the males. Right? And that's why Joseph, Mary, and Yahushua had to flee to Egypt and hide amongst other black and brown people. Why? Because it was easy to blend in. See, that's why, again, knowing these little things, they all go together. So when people come to you with an off doctrine, or they're trying to motivate you to believe something that's not scripturally sound, you have a hearty defense. Because doesn't the Bible tell you to put on the whole armor of God? And ain't part of that armor of God the helm of wisdom? Part of the armor of God is wisdom. So you can quench the fiery darts of the devil. Because what's the devil's most powerful tool? Is it a bomb, a bullet, a sword? What do you think it is? Manipulation. You got it. It's the lies. See, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians don't quite understand. We're the only ones on the planet walking around calling ourselves by the name that our conqueror gave us. We're the only ones who don't understand where we come from. Yes, the man over in Africa who might come from, say, Zimbabwe, they know that they call themselves Zimbabweans or whatever. But they know they go back to him. They know that. Say you got a man who comes from the Middle East, and he's an Arabian, an Arab. He might call himself Iraqi. He might call himself by whatever nation he's in. But when you ask him, who do you go back to? He'll say Israel. He knows where he comes from. What about us? We don't know.
I know the name. Judah.
Yeah, you know. Sister said Judah. And I'm going to tell you, that's the response that you should have when you say where you come from. When I found out that I was from the same tribe that Yahushua came from, it was a point of pride. I come from the same tribe that the Son of God was born into. All praises. Man, we got more time. On my way up here, I got stopped by 2 major accidents. It took me 2 hours to get up here. Just sitting in traffic. The Most High God is out here killing me. For real, for real. That's why we're trying to tell our people, you don't have the time to say, I'll keep the commandments tomorrow. We're seeing people get more and more desperate because they can't afford food. We're seeing more and more people get desperate because they might reside in an area where they don't have reliable plumbing, reliable power, and now they're having to move about to get those things from other areas. Well, what's going to happen when it's in short supply everywhere? That means people are going to be killing each other. They're going to be stepping over each other to get a sandwich, to get some clean water. The Bible prophesies all these things, brother. All of these things. And see, that's what Yahushua is coming to save us from. But you're going to have to go through a lot of them things and endure to the end. And then you're going to be saved. See, that's going to be the final test. But how do you pass the test you ain't studied for? You don't, right? You fail the test. That's why the Bible says, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time. So if you know what's coming and you know what's required of you, you won't fail the test. But what if you're walking around here, you black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, and you don't know what your God requires of you? You're going to fail the test. And most of our people failing the test right now. And the white man ain't even cracked the damn whip over their hand yet. And they already failing the test. That's why it's important to get in these scriptures, take it seriously, and keep the commandments. Because I'm going to tell you, the last thing you want to happen, you in real trouble, and I'm talking about the heathen might kill you type trouble, is you call on God, and God go, hey man, I ain't got time. I ain't got time. I got as much time for you as you have for me. Oh, you couldn't put the pork down, so I can't help it. You don't want to keep my Sabbath. I can't help it. You got to understand something, man. The Most High God is not just coming to preserve anybody. His son already told us that he's coming to preserve the Israelites. Other prophets who prophesied of him knew that he was only coming to preserve the Israelites. But you need to understand, the wicked of the Israelites going to get it too. They're going to die too. Right? But let's keep going with this lesson. So we're going to go ahead and roll on to Luke 2 and 17 through 21. All right. Y'all got time for the Bible? All right, mark it down.
Got it.
2 and 17 through 21. Cool.
Luke 2 or
Yeah.
17?
Yes, ma'am.
They got it.
This is Luke 2 and 17. And when they had seen it, they made known abroad the saying, which was told them concerning this child. And all they that heard it wondered at those things which were told them by the shepherds. But Mary kept all these things and pondered them in her heart. And the shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all the things that they had heard and seen. And it was told unto them. And when 8 days were actually, no, hold on. I think I wanted 4. Wait, hold on. This ain't useless, but it ain't what I want. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay, we're gonna go to Luke 4, right? This is Luke 4 and 17. And there was delivered unto him the book of the prophet, well, I'll just say Isaiah, right? It says Esaias in the Bible, but for y'all,
It's
Isaiah.
Isaiah. I got Isaiah.
This is Isaiah?
The scroll of the prophet Isaiah was given.
Okay.
And he has told the scroll.
You have
And
KJV?
found the place where it was written.
Do you have KJV or New KJV?
This one here is the Gideon.
Oh, I've heard of that. Yeah. It's a different translation. That's all I had to say. That's cool.
Where do you find the Gideon? Where do you find the Gideon?
I haven't been able to find it
You find them everywhere.
in the hotels. Sister just put me up on some game. She says she's finding these Gideon Bibles in hotels. See, and that lets you know why the heathen don't want the KJV. Because there are certain ways that things are phrased. Right? That's why I'm not for one translation over another, although I primarily read the KJV. It's just whenever I have a question about what something means, I try to go into what the word means in a concordance. You know what I'm saying? Well, let's get this. This is Luke chapter 4 and verse 17. And there was delivered unto him the book of the prophet Isaiah. And when he had opened the book, he found the place where it was written, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he hath anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He hath sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, and the recovering of sight to the blind, to set at liberty them that are bruised, to preach the acceptable year of the Lord. And he closed the book, and he gave it again to the minister, and sat down. And the eyes of all them that were in the synagogue were fastened on him. And he began to say unto them, this day is this scripture fulfilled in your ears. So Yahushua literally quoted from the book of Isaiah 61, and he quoted the portion that said, hey, look, the Messiah is going to come to do X, Y, and the third. This day has this scripture been fulfilled, because your Messiah is right here. I'm he. I'm that guy. Now, what do you think? If you Israelites, you know they blacks Hispanics stay here, right? The southern kingdom was primarily left at that time. Bunch of niggas, bunch of black folk. How do you think them black folk took Jesus Christ saying, I'm the man of prophecy? You think they supported him, patted him on the back and said, hey man, happy to see you. There's a lot for you to do, Lord. Or did they start hating immediately? Started hating immediately. That's why Yahushua had to do all the miracles, so that our people would believe. Because we require a sign. And yes, you should prove all things, but blessed are they that don't require a sign of Yahushua, who simply understand prophecy, and according to the scriptures, you can go, you know what, you the guy. See, in today's world, we don't have a sign because we're over 2,000 years removed from when he walked the earth. You got to remember, BC only ended when Yahushua died. And then you have 180, first century, second century. Before then, it counted the opposite direction. You know what I'm saying? So, say like
in 2300 BC, we might have been in the Egyptian captivity. And then going forward, in 100-year intervals, you can see the different kingdoms, different occurrences and happenings, different prophets, different royalties. But then, when Yahushua comes on the scene, and then when he dies or he's crucified, the whole calendar resets. And now you've got first century AD, second century AD, and this is all removed from the time Christ was on the earth. See, now here's the thing. When AD, it means basically after death. After death. It's something, I used to know it in Latin, but I don't know it. But that's what AD, most people know it to be, after death. Well, what is BC? Before Christ. Now, they don't teach that anymore. They teach BCE, or what is it, before Common Era and Common Era. BCE and CE, Common Era. So we would be in so-called Common Era right now. And then before Common Era is BC, or before Christ. So you see how they're trying to cover up some of the vernacular and the words that you might be able to go, hey, what do you mean before Christ, after Christ? If you say Christ isn't real, why is the timetable of the whole world named after him? So, and to avoid that, they're like, well, we'll just replace it all together. Before Common Era and after Common Era. Remember I read in 1 Maccabees 3 and 48, they sought to paint the likeness of their image in our book, in the book of the law. That's not just the Bible. We're the ones who've come up with all these calendars that they follow. You know the Gregorian calendar is based on the Aztec calendar, right? Issachar made that. They still have the most accurate calendar on the planet to date. And they made that thousands of years ago. Got time for the Bible, brother?
I'm going to drink my beer and just keep walking, man.
Okay, that's fine. I'll say it, brother. I'll say it.
Appreciate you.
No, you good, man. I was hoping you would at least stay for a little bit. I don't want all your time. I don't want all your time, brother. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, okay. I'm not going to sit here and tell you got to pay your tithes and Christ loves everybody. I'm going to give you some real scripture, brother.
All right.
But how you doing tonight?
Justin.
Justin?
Justin.
That's a middle name, man. Yeah, yeah. Justin. Yeah, yeah.
Really cool, man.
Okay. Are you Mexican by chance?
I'm Hispanic. Yeah.
Hispanic? Where's your father from, if you don't mind me asking?
From here, my mother's from Mexico.
Okay. But is your father Hispanic?
Yes, yes.
Native Hispanic? Native Mexican? Okay. So, I'm out here to let blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians know God's chosen people in the Bible, we are those people. Right? Have a question, right? Whose land is this? It's theirs. How did they get it? They took it. What if I told you how they took your land is in the Bible?
Yeah, I would say that makes sense.
It makes sense, right?
Because even they were doing that back then. Maybe not here, but over
Yeah.
there. It is land. It is land.
Yeah. Because who were the Romans ruling over in the New Testament?
Well,
The Israelites.
Yeah, yeah.
So they stole their land then, just like they've
that's
stolen
been
your
going-
land here now.
Yeah, that's been going
Right?
on. That's been going on forever, man.
Since they came out of the cave.
So I just want to read a few things to you so you can get back to just, doing your thing. This is Deuteronomy 28 and 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command you this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So whoever the Israelites are, if they don't follow God's laws, they're going to be under some curses. Let's read a few, right? This is verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness. So if you want something to drink, something to eat, or something to wear, who you got to get it from? Who owns HEB?
Edward Budd. Yeah.
But the white man, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. If you want to get something to eat, from there you got to go get, you got to have money, go buy it. What if you want some clothes? Same thing. One of all things, right? Okay, so we got one curse that the Israelites, it's not the white man, because he in charge of everything. The Israelites are going to their enemies in one of all things. All right? And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed you. So not only are you going to go to your enemy in one of all things, he's going to enslave you and put chains on your neck.
Yeah.
Didn't the Spanish conquistador do that to your people?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure somewhere down my head now.
Now, are they white people as well?
Yeah.
Yes, they are. Yeah, they're the same people, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flyeth. Huh. What's the animal for America?
Well, it's also from, well, Mexico too. Yeah.
No, but why is it on the Mexican flag?
Exactly.
The Spaniards,
yeah.
the same people.
Yeah.
Now, what if I told you the eagle was the same animal for the Germans, for the Romans,
Yeah,
for the
Nazis.
Greeks?
Yeah.
So going all the way back through history, the eagle has been synonymous with the white man. Right? So the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. So when the Spanish conquistador came here and he said, hey, I want a certain amount of gold out of that river stream, was there an age limit? No. And what if you didn't get enough gold? What would he do? He'd cut your hands off.
Yeah.
And that is being light about it. Right. He would cut their hands off. Yeah. You might get burned at the stake. Now this is the big one, right? Because we know that we're under the heel of our enemy, right?
Of course.
Verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. What were the Israelites doing in Egypt the first time?
They were enslaved, right?
They were enslaved. That's right. That's right.
No pay.
So this is what God is saying. He's going to bring us into slavery again with ships, right? By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Weren't you sold unto other white men as plantation owners? Your people?
I mean, so yeah, I'm pretty sure. I wasn't there, but yes, I'm pretty sure.
Well, I mean, you can say because my people were.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
But here's the thing. Going back to verse 46, this is in relation to the curses. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. What do you do with a sign? You do whatever it says. It's letting you know information. Well, the curses are letting you know that you are an Israelite. You are the people that this book is talking to. And who do you think the kingdom of heaven is for?
Everyone, right? Everyone.
No, don't just say no.
Whoever is welcome, right?
Okay. This will be one of the last things I read, because I know you don't have a lot of time, right? But I want you to know, brother, that not only are you special to God, you're of his chosen children, you likely come from the tribe of Issachar, right? Issachar.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of the town Issachar de Matamoros?
Yes,
In Pueblo?
Right the border, yeah.
Well, there's another place called Matamoros. I'm talking about Issachar de Matamoros in the province of Pueblo.
No. That's deeper.
That's deeper in Mexico, yes, sir. But your people know that y'all are the Issacharites. I have a question. Down in New Mexico, why do y'all have a stone monument called the Los Lunas Stone, and it has real Paleo Hebrew on it?
Damn, you got me.
It's because you're an Israelite. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just giving you a little evidence. But this will be one of the final things, right? This is Revelations 21 and 21 and 12.
Revelations, man.
And it had a wall great and high. It had 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels, and names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. This is talking about the gates to the kingdom of heaven. So I have a question. If there's only 12 gates, and at each gate an angel who's a bouncer, basically going, if you don't belong at this gate, you can't get through it.
Right.
Then what gate is the white man gonna come through? There's a reason why I'm bringing him up, by the way, too.
Dude, I like the way you preach, like, not really, but I work 7 days a week.
Issachar in the Hebrew means he is hired. He just said he works 7 days a week. I know you do. Mexicans are the hardest workers in existence.
I'm not gonna say that, but
No, you are, brother.
But I work.
I'm gonna say it straight up. I hate working with y'all because you always make me look bad every damn time. I'm like, nigga, take a break. Take a break, man. That white man ain't gonna give you no brownie points for putting in extra overtime.
No.
But that's in your nature to work. Did you know before you were the Mexicans, you were the Aztecs?
Yeah,
Aztecs. What does Aztec mean?
Oh man, it's going back. I know what somewhere in here. I know what it means. That means
People of time.
yes.
Now,
yes.
y'all were the tribe in the Bible where when the Most High God had signs in the heavens, we looked to you to
Yes.
direct us.
Mathematicians, man. That's what it is.
Aztec calendar.
Yeah.
That's why you made it.
Yeah, exactly.
But brother, Justin, you are an Israelite from the tribe of Issachar. Do you read the Bible at all?
Yeah, I've perused it. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Of course. But you taught me something. That's badass, dude.
Yeah.
That's
Of
badass,
course.
man. Like, you're very knowledgeable in them.
I appreciate it.
It was a good night. Like, I learned something, and I just got off of work. I worked down the street.
Brother, go rest and just know you special, man.
Thanks. Thank
And
you.
actually, if you want
Yeah.
some more information, we got little flyers here. So that right there, that's the real name of God, Yahweh. God's name is not God. That's like calling God Mister.
Right.
Like your dad. If you called your dad Mister, like as a kid, your dad probably beat the hell out of you after a while, right? Like,
Yeah, or sir, or
yeah. Like, Mister, I'm hungry. Mister, give me some juice. He'd be like, well, what's wrong with you? I'm your damn dad. But think about it. Every time you've been in a tight spot, you called on God. You didn't mention him by name. You called him Mister your whole life. Now you know God's name. And guess what? His name is dreadful to the heathen. You being an Israelite is the reason why that name don't make you uncomfortable. And guess what? The letter J is only 500 years old. The name of his son is right there, Yahweh Shai. So you've been calling him Jesus Christ. That's not his name, brother. And how many times has God got you out of a tight spot? I know he has.
Yeah. I should die.
Yeah. But you still here though.
Yeah.
So brother, you knowing God's name and Yahweh Shai's name, that matters, man. Don't waste it, brother. All right? Let's see. Of course. No problem. You too. I'm falling apart. Man, that ain't working. See, and that's all it takes, a few minutes. Man, when our elders walk by and they're like, I have no time, I'm like, all you've spent is time, your whole life. People 70, 80 years old walking by, ain't got shit going on, talking about they ain't got no time. That's why when the Most High God cut that time short and they asked in the hospital, they like, Lord Jesus, help me. And that's when the Most High, actually, you know what, we're going to just read it. We're going to read it. We're going to read it in Judges. This is quickly becoming one of my favorite scriptures. Right? Because as soon as I found this was in the Bible, I was overjoyed to know that the Most High God is like any respectable father whose kids constantly throw in his face that Timmy's dad down the street is better than him, richer than him, they food better than his. Most High God like, okay, go live with them niggas then. I know your parents said it, and my parents said it too. If they so damn good, why don't you stay your ass over there and stop eating up all my damn food, using up all my damn electricity, right? But this is Judges, chapter 10 and verse 15. Actually, you know, we're going to start at 13. Verse 13. Yet ye have forsaken me, and served other gods. Wherefore I will deliver you no more. Go and cry unto the gods, which ye have chosen. Let them deliver you in the time of your tribulation. So God said, hey man, if I'm so bad to work for and obey, take your ass to Buddha, to Shiva, to Milcom, to all these other pagan gods who ain't gonna do a goddamn thing for you. Take your ass over there. And you'll see throughout the book of Judges, particularly, every time we got into a tight spot, what did the Israelites do? God help us. Raise up a judge to save us. But what happened when that judge and the elders died off? We immediately went back to worshiping idols, building groves or strip clubs, and doing what we do best, which is niggatry and stupidity. That's what our people do. That's why the Most High God said, hey, look, I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to take your temple away so you can't repent and make those bullshit sacrifices to me that you don't mean. And I'm going to have a period of silence where you ain't even going to know where you are or who you are.
Whoa.
We're going to read it in Jeremiah 17 and 4. See, the Most High God was serious when he said he was displeased with us and would turn his face from us.
Jeremiah what?
17 and 4. And we're going to get back to the lesson. But we rolling in the spirit right now because that brother came up and, you know, him getting edified was a good thing. Because he said he had no time, but it turns out he had a little, right? This is Jeremiah 17 and 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. Remember I said you won't know where you at or who you are. Most High God did us dirty. But the thing is, he promised he would do it if we wouldn't keep his commandments. And to this day, blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans like nothing more than latching on to the very same people who've done nothing but spoil them. This is Jeremiah 17 and 4. And thou, even thyself,
shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever.
And they said,
So the Most High God literally said, look, man, y'all done pissed me off to the point where I got to put hands on you. And not only put hands on you, I got to put you out. Every teenager know what that's like. You finally have a blowout with your parents. You come to physical contact, and they throw you out the house. It's basically par for the course, especially being black. Our parents, you know, because eventually you ain't getting hit with belts no more. You upgrading the boards, extension cords, and metal coat hangers. But when that don't work, what's left? They got to either kill you or put you out. The Most High God did everything. He put us in lesser captivity. We were only in slavery to the Babylonians for 70 years. See, the Most High God, he tried to be patient with us. We literally were liberated from the Egyptians. The first chance that we got to meet the Most High God led us out on some Aladdin shit. For real. We got led out with the most royal procession on the planet. The angel of the Lord used to go before us as a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. And people don't know what a pillar of cloud is. That's a tornado. That's not just a cloud. There were thunderings, winds, and lightnings and smoke coming out of that pillar. Everywhere it went. That's why everybody was scared of it. And the Most High God was leading the Israelites. And even during being led, we were still rebellious. Still rebellious. That's why it got to the point where the Most High is like, look, I've tried lesser captivities. I've tried killing a couple of you. I've tried afflicting you with snake bites and poisons and hunger. But you know what? That's cool. You still don't want to get down. You still don't want to listen. Take your ass over there to the white man. Go to the Babylonians. Go to the Greeks. Go to the Romans. As a matter of fact, you don't go to the Babylonians, then to the Persians and the Medes. You ain't even gonna get a chance to come home. And then during the latter part of the Persian captivity, they let us go build the second temple. But we were still in captivity. We weren't free yet. We just got a little bit of liberty. That's like if you're on house arrest, but now you can go to the corner store. It ain't the same. It's not the same. And even then, after the Most High God sent his very own son to redeem us, we spat on him, we slapped him, we talked all types of abominations on him, and blasphemies. And see, we're very fortunate that the only thing that can't be forgiven in the Bible is blaspheming the Holy Spirit. Because if cursing the Son of God was an irredeemable sin, we'd all be condemned. Because you can curse the Son of God in many ways, not just by your mouth, by your actions as well. So the Most High God eventually said, okay, y'all don't want to get right? I'm going to put you in the hands of the worst nation this world has ever seen. And we've been here in America, South America, and Canada ever since. Yeah, you fucked up. And some of our people are gluttons for punishment. They want more of it. They don't want to go home. See, that's why in Revelations 18, we're going to go ahead and go over there. The Most High God has made, I don't want to say please to his people, but he has implored us strongly to come out of Babylon, that we not suffer the penalty that is coming to her, that we be not partakers of her sins, therefore we be not partakers in her punishments. Got it? Revelations 18, and you know, we're going to start at 1. Why not? This is Revelations 18 and 1. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, is fallen, it has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. So I have a question, right? If all the kingdoms of the earth have waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies, where did those delicacies come from? How did the white man make tobacco here? Who cultivated his fields? We did. Before us, who did? Because we got here in 1619.
But the white man pulled up here in 1492. The natives. So we've been cultivating all of his crops and creating all of his wealth. So when an Asian man is able to come all the way to America, not speak English, get a business loan, and set up a bodega in the hood, isn't that him waxing rich from the abundance of their delicacy? Because he's capitalizing off of the same people that the white man has in subjection. And to make it even worse, these Asian dogs, they even admit they don't eat the same food they serve us. They don't even eat that, like the fried rice that they serve. See, they've been catching them lately, catching dogs and cats and butchering them and making meat of them. Because see, in their country, they don't have to lie about it. Here in America, you can't eat dog or cat. Officially. You got time for the Bible, brother? You good, brother. Just know you special, you chosen, all right, brother? All praises. This is Revelations 18:4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. Here's a good example of being implored not to partake in the ways of America so that you don't suffer. Monkeypox, remember that? Who was that affecting primarily? Homosexuals. Homosexuality is a doctrine of Babylon. Because according to our customs, homosexuality is a sin punishable by death. So what if you didn't want to obey the laws of God? You say, you know what, I'm going to be a homosexual because I'm allowed to be that here in Babylon. And then you got monkeypox. Doesn't that show that you shouldn't have been partaking in the ideologies and the activities of Babylon so you wouldn't receive of her plagues? See, a lot of people, when they read these words, they don't understand that these have real life applications. So my question is, what if you're in the Babylon's military and the plague is to be bombarded by mortar fire over in Ukraine? Well, if you're not in the military, you don't have to worry about being bombed to death. You don't have to worry about getting a whole spectrum of vaccines before you're ready to go to combat. I'm ex-military myself. When you go into the military, you got to take at least 5 or 6 shots in one setting. We saw a guy in our what's it called, our flight. He passed out, had a seizure the moment he got the shots. Can you imagine the complications down the road? Because it don't just stop. As a matter of fact, that's a good example. What if you took that jab for the coronavirus? So you shaking your head because you know that's one of Babylon's ways. And there's a plague that come along with it. The plague of sickness, the plague of epilepsy, the plague of blood clots. Those are plagues. But if you ain't take the shot, guess what you ain't got to worry about? Blood clots. You see what I'm saying? Stroke, heart attack, myocarditis, swollen heart. You ain't got to worry about that if you ain't actually partake in the activities of Babylon. That's why reading these things to our people is very important. Because most of our people believe they're at liberty to do whatever they want. And they're not. And guess who will get punished for their sins and iniquities? Remember, we read it in Amos 2, or Amos 3. You only have I known of all the people of the earth. Therefore, I will punish who for your iniquity? You, Israelites. That's what the Most High God is saying. Y'all got time for the Bible? 2 minutes?
Yeah, right now, man. Sorry.
All right. Brothers, just know y'all special. All right, get home safe. All praises. Right? Now, verse 5 is going to say why we shouldn't, especially in these times, conjoin ourselves unto this nation. Because one of the things that you'll often hear our people say is, well, these crackers, they enslaved us for 400 years. God ain't do nothing then. Why he going to do something now? That's because the Most High God got a time schedule too. And he move when he want to move. He don't move when you get uncomfortable. This is Revelations 18:5. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. So, like a king handling his business in his court, you don't handle it all at once. You give audience to certain advisors and counsel. You speak on a certain issue. You make a decision, a plan of action. You dismiss everybody, and then you reconvene. And you speak on another matter, or further on the matter you spoke on before.
But there's an order to how you handle everything. And now the Most High God has remembered the iniquities of Babylon. So we've been asking, how come God ain't punishing these people? Well, guess what? He just about to do that. That's why now is the time to be rid of Babylon. Get out of this system. Separate. I know physically we can't go nowhere, but this isn't a physical separation. This is talking about the ways and the customs, the beliefs of Babylon, like Christmas, right? Verse 6, reward her, even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, according to her works. In the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double. So every lash that was laid across one of our backs in slavery, you're getting 2 for every one. Every lynching that they did during slavery, and I'm talking about the whole damn stint of it, all the way through Jim Crow. You talking about hundreds of millions of people being put to death. You gotta double that to pay the tab back. That's why when you read about the Edomites being done away with, there's only about 400 million of them on the planet. And you killed over 250 million people. So you ain't even got enough people to cover the spread. You gotta be put out of your misery so you can pay your debt back. That's why the Most High God is saying separate from Babylon. Separate from the people who've done nothing but rape, rob, and murder you. Separate from the people who are propagating the books in your elementary schools saying Timmy has 2 mommies. See, that's not our doctrine. That's theirs. See, that's why all these plagues are starting to come about the earth. That's why America's economy is in free fall right now. They're talking about this coming January, the dollar's going to be replaced by the central bank digital note.
I knew it. Did they really?
They're going to do it this January.
I told them.
But here's the thing, sister. You are actually in prophecies of the Bible.
I told my dad. Well, the reason why I told her and I knew they was going to do it, it was a movie on TV. See, you know they got to present it first.
Yep.
Somehow.
Can I read something to you on that? Because what you're saying, it's in the Bible. The way they tell it to you first, what's it called? It's predictive programming, but it's conditioned indoctrination, right? It's in Revelations 18, ironically enough. This is Revelations 18 and 23. And the light of a candle shall no more shine, or shine no more at all in thee. And the voice of the bridegroom and the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth. For by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. So when you see those movies and you go, oh, that's just a movie, that shit ain't real. That's the deception. They're telling you what they're going to do. And then they lie about it and they go, no, it's a movie. What are you talking about? It's a movie. Why do you believe that? So you believe people are really organ trafficking? But now you're starting to find out they are on large scales.
Yeah.
Have you seen some of the, well, it's more, so I don't want to say it's a rumor, but there are videos coming out from Russian troops. And what they're saying is when they're going into Ukraine, they're going into facilities that no one really had access to. And they're finding like literally crates of dead like babies and children that have been cut to pieces. They've been sourcing pieces, blood, fluids from kids as young as infants. They're finding these things where the white man previously had no prying eyes. No one was around to go, hey, what are y'all doing? Now people are starting to walk in and go, hey, what the fuck is it? And now it's coming out. But the reason why people still don't believe is because they're deceived by the sorceries of Babylon. Babylon will release a movie. What's that movie? Get Out? Remember that movie, Get Out? Okay. Well, Jordan Peele released a video, right? A man named Jordan Peele, black man. And basically it's a black man who's with a white woman. And he goes over to this white woman's house. And, you know, all of her relatives seem really friendly, but they're weird, right? There's a scene where her boyfriend basically, the woman's brother comes up to him and says, man, if you really train, you could be a beast. And what he's saying is like, if you really put your mind to it, you could be an Olympian. Because all of us have that potential. But the thing is, the reason why it's a horror movie is that they hypnotize people and then they snatch their bodies.
So basically, they put their minds into their body, and they push that person's mind into their subconscious. So that person gets to steal your body and your abilities. And yeah, they get to basically have all the advantages of being human. You got time for Bible question? That's it.
It's another thing too that was talking about, like you can download stuff from your memory on the machine.
Now, she's talking about backing up your consciousness on a physical medium,
Yeah.
like a hard drive.
Yes.
Now, there's a movie that came out in Korea called Jung-E, Jung-E. It's about a female soldier who's wounded to death in combat, and she wakes up and she's in the body of a machine. And the scientist, you don't know it until the end, the scientist that's doing the program is her daughter. They're showing you everything, what they want to do. I said this when I first came out here to preach. If the white man can't physically control you, if he can't convince you to follow after him willingly, he'll do the next best thing. He will hijack your body as close as he can. Whether it's taking all of your blood, taking your hand, taking your arm up to the elbow, taking your whole arm up to the shoulder. The FBI has already released the price list of all the pricing of your body, part by part. You can get a new kidney for $250,000. Straight up new. Need a new hand? Probably 50 grand. Heart, lungs. Now you got to remember, if you take somebody's heart out of their body, what's going to happen to them? They're going to die. What about their lungs? They're going to die. But you can get a full pair of lungs on the black market. Full heart, good conditioning, and function. And the white man ain't the only one doing it. They had a press release come out about the Chinese stealing Nigerian penises from the Nigerians over in Africa. You got to understand something. When I read, Psalms 83, talking about the enemies being confederate against us to cut us off from being a nation, that's not hyperbole. That's not a metaphor. That's literal. They come, they get together, they talk about what they gonna do, and then they do it. That's why for all this shit that America's talking about the Chinese, they ain't told these Chinese motherfuckers to go home, close up your karate school and go home. They ain't said that. They ain't said, hey, Wing Chun, close up your Chinese joint and go home. They ain't say that. How about these Arabs running these gas stations? All that war going on in the Middle East. Not one time have they said, hey, go back to the Middle East. Go back to Saudi Arabia. Go back to the United Arab Emirates. Don't come over here. Hell no. They said, hey, when you come over here, make sure you do business. Stay away from them niggas. They literally tell them when they come over here, stay away from them. Stay away from the Hispanics. They'll steal from you. Yep. So you got to understand these deceptive measures that have been employed here in Babylon. You got to remember, they have followed after Babylon. They're following behind her. So anything they do here, they're going to do over there. That's why I keep trying to tell blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians, there ain't nowhere to run. You got black people talking, I'm going to go to Africa. Well, a white man over there too. How the hell you think he got slavery? Slavery started over here. He was stealing us from the west coast of Africa and from Europe. He was bringing our asses over here. And he didn't just leave Europe or Africa. He stayed over here. And if he don't come get you, the Arab man gonna come get you. The East Indian man gonna come get you. The African man, he hates your ass, so he gonna come get you. But you see what I'm saying? The only nation that arguably was somewhat for our people were the Libyans. Muammar Gaddafi, remember him? Remember his name floating around, Muammar Gaddafi? You probably heard of him. Muammar Gaddafi was sympathetic to the plight of black people to the tune that he was trying to help Minister Farrakhan out with billions of dollars. He was going to give billions of dollars to the Nation of Islam so that they could disseminate that wealth to black people here in America. Now, what do you think America did to Muammar Gaddafi? They killed him. And they didn't just kill Muammar Gaddafi, they killed all his sons too. And they publicized it. They made sure that they had recordings of them being brutalized and murdered.
You got to understand something. When you betray the trust of the so-called white man, you pay in blood. See, we thought that we came up with that. Blood in, blood out. Jump in the game, jump out when it costs you your life. Or a life, maybe not yours, but a life. We thought we came up with that. You didn't. The original gangster, the original thug is the heathen. As a matter of fact, the original thug is an East Indian king who strangled over 900 people with his bare hands. The real thugs, the thuggies in history.
Spain,
No, in India.
India.
India, a Persian king. He was known to kill people with his bare hands. And his specialty was strangulation. And they say he strangled up to about 900 people. You got to think how intimate it is to strangle somebody. You own somebody. You can't strangle 3 people at once. You can only do one. And he did 900. That's probably a conservative figure. That's just what he strangled. That ain't what he killed. And they were the thugs. I don't know a thug on this damn earth that's more gangster than that. I don't. But you'll have niggas walking around here, they pants around their fucking ankles, talking about how hard they are. Meanwhile, the white man pull up in a police car and them niggas get scared and run down the block. Ain't bold in front of nobody, but they own people. That's why knowing who you are is important. Because when you know who you are, then you know of things that are worth dying for. That's one thing our people don't have. They don't know what's worth dying for, so they die for anything. They'll die robbing a goddamn gas station for $200, dying for nothing. That's why this gospel sets us at liberty, as it says in Isaiah 61. And this is the prison that we're trying to escape from. That's why we need our Messiah. That's why these words are important. That's why when our people say they don't got time, hey man, joke's on you. Joke is on you. You're going to keep walking around this motherfucker not knowing nothing. So we're going to go to Hosea 4 and 6. And what I'm doing now is I'm lacing you up with some of the milk, right? Some of the basic scriptures that you're really going to need. I usually go to Ezekiel and I turn from here. I'm not like that either, where I can just like flip to it. That only happens with the Most High God dealing with you. I be struggling too. If you ask me to find the book of Habakkuk, I would be struggling to find it. I think it's near Zephaniah. It's on the front end of it.
Let's see. Hosea, I got it.
Yep, 4 and 6. Or, I'm sorry, yeah, 4 and 6. This is Hosea 4 and 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God. I will also forget thy children. So imagine, we've pushed the Most High God to the point where he's like, yo, I got to take from you your heritage. You can't know you come from me no more. Can you imagine? Imagine you come from a royal house, and all you've done your whole life is mismanaged what's been given to you, whether it be jewels, money, anything, and you curse the people who gave you all those things. Eventually, if killing you don't work, because regeneration, you come back, right? If you're wicked from generation to generation despite the judgment, well, what else can I do to you? I can strip you of your noble title. All I got to do is just tell you you're not noble. You're not nobility. What do you mean you're rich? Where are your riches? You say you're a child of God. Where's your God? What's your God's name? Now you see how slavery hurt us. Because if nobody's there to teach us who our God is, or even that there's 613 commandments, they had something called the slave Bible. The slave Bible was the Bible with upwards of 85% of the Bible taken out. So the whole entire story of Exodus was gone. So the Most High God liberating the Israelites from Egypt, you would never learn about that. So how are you to learn that the Israelites have a God that will liberate them from slavery if those parts of the Bible are always out of the Bible? No one ever explains it to you. reality is, you wouldn't. That's why the Most High God destroyed us for a lack of knowledge. That's why if you go to any inner city and you stand on an intersection and you ask the brothers from the northern street, hey, what set you playing? Hey, I'm rolling Crips. I'm rolling 60. Crips, whoop-de-whoop. How about the brothers from the east? I'm Pyru. No, you're not. You're an Israelite. But ain't nobody here to teach you. So they destroy it. And then they looking at their own brothers like they from somewhere different. Well, y'all the niggas from the same block. Used to play together. But if you ain't got knowledge of self, you're going to destroy it. You're going to destroy yourself and everything around you. Now, I will admit that we don't have trash disposal services in the hood. Now, there's a reason why I'm saying this. But if you're destroyed as a person, that inner destruction will be reflected in the world around you. That's why if you go through any impoverished neighborhood with blacks and Hispanics, you see the same thing. You see mountains of trash, people dumping shit everywhere, no effort to clean up anything. And when something falls apart, nobody wants to fix it. Everybody just walks away. It's because we're destroyed. And we're in a land that we don't know. So we have no claim to the land. We also have no claim to ourselves. We're whatever the damn heathen call us. Right? So I want to show, actually, how much time we got? Okay. Because I got out here kind of late. I'm not trying to have y'all out here too long because it's already long.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bring out a few more things and then we will go ahead and hang it. All right, sisters? Yeah, we're going to bring out this one more thing and then I want to give you a commandment. All right? And while I'm here, I have to read this, so I'm going to read two things. I lied. All right? You know, like any black preacher, we going to say one thing and we're going to keep it another 30 minutes. It is what it is. This is Isaiah 43 and verse 11. I, am the Lord, and beside me there is no Savior. So the Most High God is saying, hey, look, you ain't got nowhere else to go. You have no one else to turn to. Everyone that you've turned to over me has enslaved you. Besides me, there is no Savior. Now, you tell us the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, some of them will even acknowledge that this is correct. If they believe in the Bible, or they say they do. But then you ask them, so you going to stop eating pork? All of a sudden, they got to think about it. But your Savior demands it. I still got to think about it. You going to stop celebrating Christmas? Well, I don't know, my kids really like Christmas. And then you see our people are in love with the ways of Babylon because it puts, not necessarily themselves, but those around them at ease. So they would rather cleave unto the heathen than let it go and find out what's in the Bible. But let's go ahead and get a few other things. One thing. Actually, you know what? We're going to go to the New Testament. I want to go to the words of Yahushua. And I want to show you, sister, that how we're going to get that exemption, that white stone, that pardon. Because in Greek society, say you went to court. If you got found guilty, they would give you a stone, you would look at it, and if it were black, that means you were guilty. But if it were white, that means you were vindicated or exonerated or innocent. Either way, you wouldn't suffer a penalty, right? Yahushua uses the same metaphor here. This is Revelations 2:17. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. To him that overcometh will I give to eat of the hidden manna, and will give him a white stone, and in the stone a new name written, which no man knoweth, saving he that receiveth it. That white stone is going to be exemption from the second death. Remember I told you thermonuclear fire is coming to America? The whole world is about to be everywhere, right? But specifically for our people here in Babylon, we want that exemption from the second death. Because if you have to endure the second death, according to Revelations 20, you're not going to be present for the millennial reign of Christ. That's going to be the time where all the heathen are under our foot in slavery. So you want this mark of exemption. And if you read Ezekiel 9, it tells you anybody who doesn't have that mark of exemption, they're going to get killed by the agents of the Lord. The agents of the Lord can slay you in many ways. You can have a vision so dreadful that you die. You can get beset by disease. They can hop on some crazy nigga. He can come over and strangle you to death, stab you up, shoot you up. People got to realize, man, the left-hand agents of the Most High God are demons, man. People who are bugged out their mind, I'm going to tell you, I see people walking by me every time I'm out here. And I can tell they got left-hand spirits on them. They be babbling, some of them throwing stuff, hitting their own body. But they don't come near me, though. And I'm not saying I'm more righteous than everyone else. I'm not saying that. But when I'm in the office doing what the Most High God tells me to do, He tells them left-hand spirits, hey, man, move around. Move around. He got shit to do, man. I'm using him right now. Move around. Sometimes the left-hand spirit might be too rambunctious. He'll send me help. I told you I had a brother who saw an Edomite with a knife walk by. I didn't even see it till that damn cracker was right up on me. He was on it. I ain't seen that brother ever again. And apparently he worked downtown somewhere. But somehow I've never seen him in the last 2 years. That's why Hebrews 12, 1 through 2 tell you, be careful when you entertain strangers, because you entertain angels unaware. Be careful. But most of our people don't understand, man. The left-hand spirits are the Most High God's too. That's why people talk real big and bold till they got to call on God in a low estate. All of a sudden, God have mercy, come help.
So do you think the devil got any
I'm going to show you why he has power too. We're going to go to Job 1. Yeah, I'm going to show
power?
you.
He don't have power. It's what God gives him.
Exactly. So I want to clarify, because I know you might not have picked up what she said. The devil doesn't have any power. The same way so-called Jesus Christ has no power. They only have power to the extent that the Most High God gives them. That's what people have to understand. That's why Yahushua said, I do nothing of my own power. I do the work that the Most High God sent me to do. I say the words that He put in my mouth.
Correct.
Same thing with the devil.
Correct. But
Okay?
also you said we don't have no power, but we have a power when we accept our shine in our life because we are God and God gave us that spirit, and with that spirit comes the power. We say you can do what I do,
Yeah.
even greater things.
Yeah. Well, and that's what he meant. Basically, he said, greater works than these will you do. But what he's saying is, in the time where the Most High God is to show miracles, you're going to be doing the miracles. You got to remember, we're about to go into Jacob's structure. You know what that is, right? Okay, we're going to read it. We're going to read it real quick. We're going to come back to Job, but I want to make sure you know what I'm talking about. Right? Because it's going to be the worst time on the planet. And we're heading into it right now. That's why you knowing about the money about to change over in January, you got to think everybody going to be broke.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I know it. Okay, but when they do that, what they gonna do when they're just
They going to let this place go to hell.
well, how the money gonna work?
You
Is
gotta-
it gonna be
So one of the things that's going on is the white man is now being identified as the problem. What he wants to do is, instead of letting another nation come to power, this is normally how it would happen, right? You have an empire, they rise, then they have a rival. And then that empire starts to decline, the rival starts to rise, and then they go to war, and then that one cedes power, they go off, and that one rises into power. And that's it. You have a new rulership, right? The white man is like, fuck all that, I want to rule forever. So that's why they're pushing for nuclear war. Because everyone's going to die in a nuclear war. So their idea is, we're going to build a bunch of bunkers, live underground, and then when everyone's dead, we'll come up and we'll have power still. That's their idea. That's why the Bible says we're going to be getting them out of the holes of the rocks, out of those caves. That's what the elect are going to be doing. I want to be part of that. That's all in the Bible. Yes, ma'am. And if I see you next Friday or Saturday, I'll read about it. Yeah. The heathen are literally, like it says in the Bible, they say to the rocks, fall on us, to hide us from the judgment of the Most High God. In other words, they're going deep underground. A
judgment, not understanding that the elect are going to be crying over all of those concrete homes. You can't go nowhere and hide from God. The Most High God just letting them move into place so all these prophecies can be accomplished. That's all. Because how is the Most High God going to lay his vengeance on Edom, the white man, by the hand of his people Israel? Well, if they down in like 5 miles beneath the surface of the earth in a concrete bunker that's self-sustaining where they don't have to come up for 50 to 100 years, that means we got to go get them. You know? We got to go get them. But if you got a perfect body that's bulletproof, bomb-proof, and Yahweh Shai said, go get them niggas. Guess what? We gonna go get them niggas. I know it's man, and to anybody who's new to the truth, don't let that bug you out. Don't let that bug you out. Because how else is the cancerous presence of the white man supposed to be extinguished? They gotta be brought into slavery. So what if you got the Rothschilds, you know, the top Edomites on the planet? What if they hide in the earth? They're the ones that the Most High God wanted slavery the most. You know who started the plan? A man named Judah P. Rothschild. One of the Amalekites, or so-called fake Jews. Now, who runs the world today? The Rothschilds. They stand at the top, the tip top. Now, you think these people are witnessing all these things happen on the planet, and they just gonna sit back and let their kingdom fall and lose power? Hell no. They're trying to make it so that they destroy the world so badly that they're the only ones left. You read about Noah in the Bible, right? The whole world got destroyed. Noah and his sons and their wives populated the earth. Well, what stops them from doing the same thing? In theory. I can tell you what stops them. The Messiah. Because the Bible says, if the Most High God didn't shorten the work or shorten the days, no flesh would be saved. So their plan is would destroy the earth. Not the earth itself, but all the life on it. So the Most High God is sending not only our Messiah in power and glory, he's going to give us power and glory as well to carry out his orders. Why you think after we had a nation service for 1,000 years, we gonna tell them to go home and they ain't gonna say shit about it? Because what can you do in the face of absolute power? When you were 3 years old and your daddy said, clean your room, mama, whoop your ass. Did you go, no, I'm gonna ball a fist and I'm gonna hit him with all my might and I'm gonna teach him? No, you said, all right, I'm on it, boss. And if you didn't want to clean your room, and you had to get, touched up with a belt, you didn't all of a sudden revolt against your parents for the rest of your life. No, you just said, well, I took that ass whooping, I'm gonna have to hold that. I'm gonna have to hold that L. Why? Because you're looking in the face of absolute power. How much more the Messiah, the Son of God, with his armies of chariots and the elect? See, people don't realize, man, Yahweh Shai is the highest general in the armies of God. He gonna command all the angels, including Michael. I'm about to read that to you. It's gonna get so bad, sister, that Michael, the angel under Yahweh Shai, Micah Allah means one who is like God. He has to stand up and defend us. I love reading stuff like this. Oh, I love it. Because it lets our people know that all those things that you suspect, most of the time you're almost right. All you need is you need to bring these things to remembrance with the word. See, that's why most of our people, they know about all these conspiracies, but they don't know how to apply it. They don't know what to do with it.
But the Spirit brings me down.
It does. But what if the Spirit takes you away from the prophets and not to it? It does that, because this ain't for everybody.
But you gotta know what spirit is spirit.
But most of our people don't. You gotta remember, we're lost. Our people are already destroyed. So what if you never get the presence of mind to say somebody walking by, they hear this, what I'm doing, and whatever in them, the spirit just says, man, that's nonsense. Don't listen to this shit. They just keep walking. Don't matter what I say to them. The spirit that's on them is saying, hey, don't listen to that. But I read to you before, remember in 2nd Ezra, it said that we were basically chosen from the foundation of the earth, the foundation of the world. What if they're not chosen? Now you're starting to see, Most High God only chose certain people.
he didn't choose you, you might get it for a time, but you ain't gonna keep the commandments. You ain't gonna stick with it. There have been brothers that I've known that have done this. They've done it better than me and longer than me, and they've walked away from it. Because the Spirit, Most High God spat them out for whatever reason. That's why when you come to serve the Lord, how do you come to serve Him? With fear and trembling. What did King David ask the Most High God not to do? To sift him from his presence. That's why King David said, I'll be a doorman in the kingdom of heaven. I don't have to be a king or some high authority. But shit, I'll open doors. Come on in, Lord. But I'm in the kingdom of heaven, though. You see? That's what it's about. Most of our people don't understand what this is about, man. That's why they be looking for glory doing this, not understanding. That part come later. And if the last shall be first and the first shall be last, then you should be the humblest nigga on the planet. That's why anybody talking about how great they are, how many people they reach, man, you ain't shit, bro. Be humble. Because the Most High God gave you the strength, the power, and the wisdom to reach them people. And just as He gave it to you, He can take it from you. With the quickness. This is Daniel 12:1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was, since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. Notice it says that during that time of trouble, it's going to be one unlike any other time in history. Read it again. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, Jacob's trouble, such as never was, since there was a nation, since we've been Israelites. Since Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob walked the earth, and Jacob's name was changed to Israel, and he had the 12 patriarchs all the way till today, it's going to be worse than any time in history. Slavery, gator bait, Jim Crow, all those things. It's going to be worse than it. Remember I told you what they're fighting in Ukraine? Can you imagine what's here in the United States? Which is a founding. We're in the worst time that we've ever been in. The black population is responsible for over 80% of all abortions. 80%. And we're still holding where we're at. That tells you how many kids we're having. If your population isn't shrinking despite you killing most of your babies, that says you're having a lot of kids. But it also says you're killing a lot of them too. Far more than what's being born. Now, you know after you're born here in America, that's just the start of the suffering. That's just the start. You get discriminated against all the time. You walking around calling yourself black or a nigga. You go into your enemy of one of all days. You're getting jammed up by the police. Depending on where you live, you're getting shot at. Baby mama holding your kids hostage. Man beating on you. You're going through hell. But this is saying a time like no other. So bad that you got to understand, you have the Most High, Yahweh Shai, and Michael. Michael got to stand up. This is before Yahweh Shai. Michael got to stand up and intercede so we don't get wiped out. You answered me earlier. You answered correct when I asked. When Herod knew that the Messiah might be born, what did he try to do? Now, what do you think they're going to do if they think their kingdom is at an end? They'll do anything, sister. Have you heard they're trying to take uteruses out of black women and Hispanic women and put them in gay men? Have you heard about that? No. You got time for the Bible, brother? 5 minutes? Have a good night, brother. Have you heard about that? That's what they're doing. Yep. They're trying to make it so that they can get pregnant like a woman by taking your anatomy, your parts.
But what's they gonna do with the egg that's they got?
They'll just fertilize it.
So they'll inseminate the egg outside, in a little petri dish. Then they'll implant it in the uterus. That's in the tranny or the gay man or whatever the fuck you call it. You gotta understand. Actually, you know what? You ain't gotta understand. Let me read it to you. See, that's why when you read Hebrews 12 and 16, when it says, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, we're only getting a glimpse of what these people have really been up to. Right? Let me get this. See, that's why when you bring to their attention the hundreds of millions of people that they murdered to take the slave, they don't blink. Because they're the worst of the worst of the worst of the worst. This is Hebrews 12 and 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. For ye know how that afterward when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected. For he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. And the white man will come up to you, hat in hand, looking all low, crying and shit, knowing behind closed doors he's a pedophile. Knowing he got folks buried in his backyard. That's who you're dealing with. Now imagine the ones who have trillions of dollars. The world has been at their feet for the last 500 years. And now you're telling them it's over. Have you ever played like Nintendo or anything? You know, they tell you, it's time to pass the controller. Now white man's being told, you gotta pass the controller, bro. Your turn over. And the spoiled kid be like, nah, man, I want to play. It's my turn. That's who Esau is. That's why trying to reach our people with this message, this shit is hard, man. Some people don't want to believe it. They can't believe somebody could be that wicked. They're starting to admit that a lot of the cancer diagnoses were incorrect when it came to cervical cancer. So all them women who got them hysterectomies, what they get them for then? Where they had their ovaries and their uteruses taken out. There you go. To put them in someone else. And your organs are viable for decades if they put them in cold storage. And did you know they can clean your organs up? Say you got infected tonsils. They can clean those up. Say you got cysts on your uterus. They can clean that up. See, the white man don't tell you all that shit. As far as you know, they just taking it out your body and they throwing it in a trash can. That's what they make you think. Or they're gonna go burn it, like they say they burn hazardous waste. But they don't burn shit. So much so that when you die, they have entire teams dedicated to picking over bodies. Say you're a 25-year-old man, you got a car accident. You're brain dead. They're already calling people to start carving up your body. And I'm talking about things you don't even think they can take. The retinas off your eyes, the lenses. They have people who specialize in dissecting the eye and taking parts off. They have people that specialize in taking your organs. So we gonna see a time like no other. Y'all got time for the Bible? A couple minutes? Stop saying. I like the shirt, brother. Yeah. You know his real name though? His real name is Yahweh Shai, brother. The letter J is 500 years old. But, so I want to show you that the devil only has as much power as God gives you. This is Job 1:1. There was a man in the land of Uz, whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared God and eschewed evil. And there were born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters. And I'm going to skip down to the part where Satan comes to the Most High, right? Verse 6. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. So that dispels the whole cast out of heaven. Because if God cast you out of heaven, how the hell is he coming back on his own volition?
Because when God cast him out of heaven, he didn't put that, I don't know what he got, how he stopped it, but then they was able to travel back and forth until God says,
No, nowhere in the Bible does it say they were cast out.
I'm going to read what you're talking about. You're talking about the sons of men coming down to the earth and having children with the other nations.
Yes.
When it says those giants, the giants in the land,
In
those are
Genesis
Israelites.
6.
Yeah, those are Israelites. Those are the proto-Israelites. Because you got to remember, Adam was chosen, and Adam had children, and Adam's children had children. They were the chosen lineage. Let me put it this way. Say Shaquille O'Neal in his prime, he was 25 years old. Say, you know what, fuck it here. I'm going to go over to China, and I'm going to have as many children with as many different Chinese women as possible. That would be a giant getting with the daughters of men. That would be an example. Because you could literally see him as a physical giant having children with Chinese women. I'm going to read it so it'll be more context. Because the thing is, those men that are being spoken of, those are just famous Israelites. Israelites of renown. So imagine King David went to the land of Moab and started having kids everywhere. He would be thought of as a giant. You have to remember, the terminology in the Old Testament and in the New, in the Bible in general, doesn't necessarily mean the same thing. Because you remember when Joshua and Caleb and the other Israelites, they went into the promised land, and then the other Israelites came back and they were scared and didn't want to go because they said we were like grasshoppers unto them, the sons of Anak.
Yeah.
Now, there are tribes on the earth where the median height is 7 foot. In Africa, those are those same people. They're not giants, they're just big. They're heathen. Now are you starting to see what I'm saying?
Okay. Let me read that, and
Okay.
then we're gonna hit Genesis 6.
Cool. We'll get it. Right. But this is Job 1 and 6. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? So God is saying, hey, where you coming from? Let's see if God said, nigga, who you talking to, man? You can't talk to me. Let's see what he said. Then Satan answered the Lord and said, from going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. So he said, from doing exactly what you told me to do. To walk about as a roaring lion, seeking whom I may devour. Satan said, I'm doing what you told me to do. So how much power does Satan have again? What God gives him. Because God could have said, you know what? Stay up here. I don't want you down there no more. And you know how I know Satan was never cast out? Because Satan and Michael get into an argument in the book of Jude. Yeah, I'll show it to you. Oh, yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And it's in the New Testament. See, and this is to the camera. Your pastor knows that's in the Bible. But he gonna tell you that Satan was cast out of heaven. He took a third of the angels with him.
Yeah.
He gonna tell you that. Because he knows that that's Christianity. Christianity doesn't have a chosen people. Christianity is for everybody. Christianity doesn't have a rule that, or basically a framework of rules and commandments. You can eat pork in Christianity. How many times in the church did you eat hot dogs? I know you did. If you're from the South like me. If you didn't eat hot dogs, you ate ribs, pig feet, chitlins. The further south you go, the more pork you ate. But in Christianity, that's how we get down. Because they're not followers of Christ. It's a religion. We don't have a religion system. We have a heritage. That's the difference. We have a heritage. A white man can't claim my heritage. See what I'm saying? A white man can't claim your heritage. In Deuteronomy 4 and 5, and actually I'm going to read it after this, because you need to understand what that heritage is. The laws and the statutes of the Bible are our heritage. They're ours. That's why when they start talking about, oh, I'm a spiritual Israelite. How? When you got to descend from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob by blood to qualify. How? See, that's why you have the mark of the beast, that microchip that you keep hearing about. That's how they want to take the Israelites. See what I'm saying? You see how dangerous this is? Because now, if I've commandeered your body and taken control of it, and I'm seeing what you see here and what you hear, and I'm your body, well, technically I'm the Israelite.
That's why the book of Revelation talks about those who take the mark being tormented in the presence of Yahweh Shai, the Holy Angel. You're going to pay for that. Yeah, every Israelite going to be saved. Every single one of them. But you're going to get judged first. But let's finish in Job, right? So verse 7. And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And the Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that feareth God, and escheweth evil? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, Doth Job fear God for naught? So Satan, although he's under the complete dominance of the Most High God, he's just like you and me. You can speak. Even if you speak out of turn, have to be punished. He spoke to God and said, man, he only serves you because you do everything for him. He's rich beyond his wildest dreams. He has 10 kids. He's got everything a man could wish for. That's why God took everything from him. He put stipulations on it. I'm going to show you. Right? Verse 10. Hast not thou made a hedge about him, and about his house, and about all that he hath on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. But put forth thine hand now, and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face. And the Lord said unto Satan, Behold, all that he hath is in thy power. Oh, so the Most High God said all that he has is in your power. So you can touch it however you want. You want to take it away? You want to give it to somebody else? You can do that. But let's see the limitation, right? Only upon himself put not forth thine hand, but don't kill him. Now we read the book of Job. What did he take from Job? He took his sons. He took his daughter.
He took his health.
He took his health. His wife betrayed him and left him. He took everything except for his life. And that's because he can only do what God tells him to do. So I have a question. When did he rebel against God if he still take the law?
Okay. Let's go back. Okay. Satan is an angel.
Yes.
Angels are not like humans.
You're not. You're right.
Okay? So that's why God made humans to have companionship with him.
Can I show you something where God has just as much companionship with the angels as he does with us, if not more so? I can show you the Bible.
Okay, I want to see that.
Yeah, I'll show you the Bible. So, in case the camera missed it, I'm going to demonstrate that the angels have just as much back and forth in companionship with the Most High God as we do. And that's not to trivialize relating with the Most High God. I'm not doing it. What I'm trying to say is the angels are not just these like, they're not just like RC cars, like a remote control car, where God is like, okay, I created this thing to just be like a machine.
So like say one angel is over building stuff.
Let me get this real quick. It'll show
Like
you.
Satan is over music.
No? Where's that in the Bible?
Did it say he was over music?
No. No. Because when you read the book of Revelations, if Satan was over music, if Satan has access to the kingdom, throughout the book of Revelations, you see angels praising God all the time. Where's Satan to sing a number in heaven? That's not his job.
What was his job?
It's in his name. Satan is adversary. When you go to court, you have a judge, you have a defending attorney. Let's say you're the defendant, right? You're being accused of a crime. You're being accused of possession, right? Possession of cocaine, something like that. When you go to court, you have a lawyer appointed to you. If you can afford one, you have one paid for by you. Who's bringing the case against you?
The dead.
Or a prosecutor? That's who Satan is. Why do you think Christ said you have a mediator with the Father? He mediates on your behalf. So, say you forgot to keep the Sabbath for 20 years. Every time you forgot was a sin punishable by death. If you left it up to the Most High God, He would just exercise judgment. Now, He can show mercy under His own discretion, but looking at the Old Testament, more times than not, the punishment met the crime. Right? Working on the Sabbath. Remember the man picking up sticks on the Sabbath? What did God tell the Israelites to do? He told them to stone that man to death in front of the congregation, and they did it. But when you have Yahushua, He might go to the Most High and go, look, I know she didn't keep the Sabbath for 20 years, but she keep it every day. And not only that, she gave up orphan, she gave up brothers. Now she calls on you 3 times a day by your real name, Yahweh. She's doing her best. Why do you think He shed His blood? That's why He can mediate for you.
I love saying this because our people don't understand. That's why He shed His blood.
For that exact ability to mediate for you. That's why.
Because I know for my entire life, I didn't keep the Sabbath. Hell, I didn't know what the Sabbath was.
Okay.
Okay? So,
You say I have a son. I mean, Jesus Christ, I was just
Yahushua.
Yahushua. He talks a lot about it. My understanding, okay, Jesus, I mean, Yahushua came to pay the price, the ultimate.
No?
Because back then, they used to have to do an animal.
That's right.
And they have to have a priest.
That's right. Levitical priest. All right.
And also, that priest have to do his first because they had a belt.
When they go into the Holy of Holies. That's right.
And the reason why they had a belt, and the reason why they went to Holy of Holies, and the reason why he had to get cleaned up before he goes in there. Because God can't be in the
Yep, that's true. That's true.
okay? So, since no man can do it, because Moses, Elijah, Abraham, all of them had a flaw.
That's right. But you remember when,
But,
well, go ahead. Keep on.
they all had a flaw.
Okay.
Okay. But they had to sacrifice animals. But Jesus said, I'm gonna come. Yahushua said, God said, I'm gonna send my son to show y'all how. Okay? Because he's the only one that God gave the power. Because he wasn't born into sin. But he was born by the Holy Spirit.
I know what you're saying.
Okay? So he had the ability to walk and do what God, his father, told him. Because they had that relationship.
Now, I have a question.
Wait.
Where is that in the Bible? You're saying a lot. You gotta prove it.
When it says it in the Bible, it's not really say that, but it's like you put 1 and 2 together.
And that's where the
and when
danger
you come
comes
in
in.
three.
But that's what I'm trying to say. That's where the danger comes in. Because that's Christianity. So let me illustrate to you that Satan was never cast out of heaven. He's only doing his job.
He was cast down to the earth.
No.
Because God made him God of the earth.
No. He is the adversary. He is just, that's all. Satan literally means adversary. It means adversary. That's his job. That's his whole job. And I told you, I was going to tell you. I'm going to read two things.
Oh, now you're giving me a different outlook.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But that's good. But that's good, though. Because the thing is, and all I'm asking you, sister, is not to believe me. Don't believe me. I'm just a nigga with looking at me. You know what I'm saying? Read your Bible. So I'm going to read this to you, right? So we're going to go to Jude. Jude only has one chapter, so that makes it easy. This is Jude, and we'll start at verse 9. Yet Michael the archangel, when contending with the devil, I'm going to read it again. Yet Michael the archangel, when contending with the devil, or Satan, he disputed about the body of Moses, durst not bring about him a railing accusation, but said. So, instead of going at each other and having friction with one another, they got someone else to arbitrate. Let's read it. The Lord rebuked thee. But these speak evil of those things which they know not. But what they know naturally as brute beasts in those things, they corrupt themselves. Now, I read that extra bit just to illustrate. That's why you don't speak out of your own understanding. Never put two and two together. Even if you're right, you might not have the biblical precedent to prove it. And that's where somebody who might have, I don't want to say biblical understanding, but they might be able to sway you to think something wrongly by saying scriptures that don't apply. That's why always having the scriptures to back you up, that's your foundation. That's why I just brought you two witnesses that show that Satan is in compliance with the Most High God, just like any other angel. Now I'm going to show you there are evil angels in heaven holding counsel with God. And that's the face I love to see. I don't believe that, nigga. Read that to me. I love that face. I love it. Because you know what? After you read it, they stuck. They got to go, man, I didn't know that was in there.
I gotta go back.
You got to read it. That's how it works. But the cool thing about it, sister, is after you read it, you're that much stronger for it. This is real strength. Because when all that hardship comes, you're going to know how to read this book. And if they take the book from you, you're going to have the knowledge. Because eventually they're going to take this book. They already banned it in multiple nations. They're passing legislation now to ban the Bible, saying it's offensive. They're trying to have AI give sermons in churches. Machines. They're having machines preach the Bible when they have no understanding of the Bible whatsoever. They understand Christianity. See? That's why you got to understand your heritage. Now, I read this. Well, I've been holding this. Actually, let me get this real quick. So I keep saying that this is your heritage, right? I want you to understand that only the Israelites have this heritage. This is Deuteronomy 4 and 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. For what nation is there so great, who hath God so nigh unto them, as the Lord our God is in all things, that we call upon him forward? And what nation is there so great that hath statutes and judgments so righteous as all the law which I set before you this day? That's your heritage. That's why when I took you to Jeremiah 17 and 4, what did it say? And this is directed at Jeremiah. It said, even thyself shall discontinue from thy what? Thy heritage. And how would that happen if Jeremiah had already memorized the Bible or what was available at the time, the Old Testament, right? If he's a prophet, he's memorized it frontwards and backwards. How would he discontinue from his heritage? Regeneration. So when you come back in the next generation, even if you come back 3, 4, 5 generations later, what if you get parents who aren't Israelites? They don't know they're Israelites. They're Israelites by blood, but they don't know it. Well, who gonna teach you?
Okay. So if I die now, do I just stay asleep until judgment day?
I'm gonna tell you, judgment day. I don't want to say it's close, but let's say it's close. You gonna be risen out of the dust and judged.
So I will sleep until judgment day.
You will sleep until judgment day. Yes. If judgment day occurs before you are sent back into regeneration, basically it's like, when you're taking the test, they go pencils down.
Yeah.
You got to step back, get your
Yeah.
hands up and all that shit. That's all it is. Most High God basically saying, pencils down. Come on back. You see the Most High God, and you receive your judgment for the things done in your body, and you rest. But what about the grand judgment that encapsulates not just your life, but the life before that, and the life before that, and the life before that? I'm going to read something to you. Don't worry. I know it's a lot. If you got questions, ask me. Because this is hard stuff to understand, right? And I got that thing I was talking about with the angels, the evil angels and counsel with God. I'm going to read that to you. Yeah. But let me get this real quick while it's on your mind. Locks at the end of days. I missed y'all because I did not get to give lessons like this. And having to start over every time, I ain't gonna lie, sister. I love teaching the milk, don't get me wrong. But having a student where I could just go, hey, let's pick up on chapter 8 instead of chapter 1. It feels better. Because I'm learning too. I'm going over stuff that I haven't been able to go over in months. So you're a blessing to me. Hopefully it's a blessing to you, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's in Daniel. How the hell did I forget that? I read that earlier this morning. Yeah, Daniel 12. Hold on. So you see that, and just for your information, it's in Jude. You want to see that disputation between the devil and Satan? It's in verse 9. Jude is right before Revelation. And it's one page, right? But I'm going to show you, right? This is further evidence of regeneration. But the thing is, you have to know what regeneration is to even understand the end of Daniel. So you see how the Bible, you can read the Bible, you can get a lot of simple things, but then there'll be something in a chapter, and you're like, I don't know what that is. Say like when it says, like in Revelations 1, where it says, every eye shall see him, even those who pierce him. If you don't know what regeneration is, you don't know what to make of that. What do you mean? So the Roman centurion who pierced Christ in the side is still alive? And then that's where you get all these theories. Oh, he had a piece of the cross around his neck, and it gave him eternal life. You know people think that? If they have a piece of the real cross, it gives them youth and life. You know that? People literally say stuff like that. But you know where it comes from? That misinterpretation of what I just said. Every eye shall see it, even those which pierce him. Well, if the Roman centurion pierced his side, got a cup, and got some of the water that was poured out of his side and drank it, maybe he had the powers of Christ. You see how bizarre that is? You see how sacrilegious that is?
Oh my God.
But the thing is, it comes from misunderstanding the scripture. That's why I'm telling you what your heritage is.
Oh my God, you know what I just got?
What's up?
We're like everything else. The cycle of life.
Why do you think in Ecclesiastes 1, it
Oh
says there's
my
no new,
God.
but you remember, you've read this. There's no new thing under the sun. Why do you think you see that? You ain't new and neither am I.
Oh my God.
That's how it works. I love the
Oh my
epiphanies.
God.
Because when you have breakthroughs, I'm going to tell you, this book gets heavier. It gets heavier. And you realize you have a responsibility because you have knowledge that everybody else ain't got. And they're reading the same book you read. When it clicked, that's how it happened. This book gets 100 times heavier every time you have a breakthrough. And the Most High God reveals his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. That's why you're able to get it. Most people don't understand this. Yep. So I'm going to read this in Daniel. It's going to make a lot more sense. This is Daniel, chapter 12 and verse 11. And from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolate set up, there shall be 1,290 days. Blessed is he that waiteth, and cometh to the 1,305 days. But go thou thy way till the end be, for thou shalt rest, and stand in thy lot at the end of days. So you're going to stand in your lot at the end of days. Guess where we're at, sister? The end of days.
Yeah, down that way.
Y'all got time for the Bible tonight? You're good. Have a good night. But you get what I'm saying? All praise to the Most High God. That's how you know God's healing. That's how you know. Yep. That's how you know. Why do you think I told you when I first had you sit down? I said the prophets were back. We're back. I'm telling you, your redemption's here. It's over. We've suffered enough. That makes sense. Glad it does, sister. I really am. Glad it does. Glad it does. You haven't suffered for nothing. Now, I want you to walk with me on this. When you die, your spirit returns to the Most High God. You receive your judgment. You rest, and you come back. His judgments are meant to correct you. So what if God's judgment is that you be saved? He has to correct you. That correction can come in many ways, sister. Why do you think wicked men are in high places now? They're not chosen. At least most of them. You're not suffering for nothing. None of us are. Those pictures I showed you in that book with our people hanging, they're back too. And when you come back, there is no remembrance of times past. You get your judgment for whatever you did in your past life. Come back. And you cycle and cycle and cycle. Sometimes you're the parent, and the kids that you have are your kids. Sometimes they're your parent, and you're their children. However the judgment plays out. Why do you think God said no one can deliver from my hand? Why do you think Jesus Christ said unto God he commended his spirit when he gave up the ghost? Because he understood how it worked. And why do you think when you read in the book of Hebrews, he went into the Holy of Holies when he gave up the ghost? Because he finally made it. He broke the seals of the book. That's why when you read in Revelation, one was celebrated as being worthy to open the seals of the book. Finally, he did it. That's why. This is why you preach. To all you niggas sitting at home talking shit on the internet. This is why you preach. So our people can understand that they're not suffering for nothing. That their God loves them and no one else. Yeah, but.
Okay, we can take this.
It's a boat, big.
No, just grab the other side.
That's why.
Hi, strong
I
man.
guarantee you can think of things that have happened to your family in cycles. Going back to your grandparents, your great-grandparents, all the way to your children and their children. And you see it. You see curses and blessings, but more curses because we're under punishment right now. That's why I know I always ask, why is it that my family, we seem to never be able to come together on anything? My family is scattered all over the U.S. We're not united on anything, and all of us are in poverty. All of us. But that's our judgment. That's why your Messiah unifying us matters. It breaks the cycle of the curses. I want you to read Revelations again. You ain't got to read it all. Just read a good portion of it. It's going to mean something else.
That's how the message of Yahushua to the 7 churches in Revelations 1 and 2, that's why they mean something to you today. Because those people in those churches were Israelites. They were you, not them. I almost turned home and I almost turned back and went home today. I literally did. I was stuck in traffic for 2 hours, man. Something in the spirit said, get your ass in the spot and do the work, man. If you only get 30 minutes, do the work. This is what you get for it. Fruit. I tell you, man. And you got people walking by, man, don't give a damn. Curses, kicking their family ass. And they don't know why. I'm going to read this to you, sister, in Isaiah 1. And it's going to take on a completely different meaning. Because now, you're able to play 4D chess with the Most High God. You don't see people as one individual in one life no more. Now you see them as a cycle of lives, being curated over time. I'm going to read this in 2nd Ezra first, though. See, the Most High God has said things that most of our people don't quite understand. But when you come to understand regeneration and what it means, you can finally start to empathize with the amount of work and effort that the Most High God has put into us to make us perfect. This is 2nd Ezra, chapter 9 and verse 22. Let the multitude perish then, which was born in vain, and let my grape be kept in my plant. For with much or great labor have I made it perfect. With great labor has he made us perfect. We're not at the end yet. We got some refinement to go. But you now see why, though. See, the why matters. When you don't know why, it's hard to stay motivated. It's hard. But when you know why, it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier. And most of our people who call themselves believing in God don't know why. They don't have the first frame of reference for why they believe in God and what that means for their life and their livelihood. They don't know. When they say goodbye to their relatives, they think they're saying goodbye forever. Not understanding, you never even said hello. You've always been together. You've always been together. You just come back in different ships. And you might not know who that person is, but guess what? They're still here. And none can deliver them from the Most High God's hand. Nobody. Well, let's get this in Isaiah 1. So much for 30 minutes, right? This is my last one, right? Oh, my last one. See, I can't leave the sister hanging on that. Now I have to give her more. Because she understands more now. I'm going to tell you, sister, that's a hard wall for people to get over. Because there's a lot of moving parts to it that you got to understand. It's a lot of moving parts to the prophecies of the Bible. And how we're the same people who are spoken of in the times of old. There's a lot of moving parts. But when you get it, God damn it, do you get it? Man, do you get it? Man. This is Isaiah. You know, this is Isaiah 1 and 2. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for the Lord hath spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me. See, when the Most High God says we've rebelled against him, he's not talking about one time. He's not talking about one life. He's talking about time and time and time again. Most High God been waiting on us for centuries. You got to understand, a day to the Most High God is 1,000 years to us. And we've been rebelling every goddamn time we've had a chance. And the Most High God has been patient, long-suffering. He sat there and he took it. And then he tried to fix us. That's why he said, with much labor have I made you perfect. Verse 3, the ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib, but Israel doth not know. My people do not consider. Our people never stop and consider. Why in the hell are we in the predicament that we're in? Why are these people ruling over us? Why they say we niggas and spicks? When we bring flavor to the whole world, they call us lazy, but yet we're the ones doing all the goddamn work. How is that possible? But when you understand the prophecies of the Bible and regeneration and curses, it becomes more apparent. These are judgments from the Most High God. He promised. What did Deuteronomy 28 say? 28:46? It said the curses will be upon us for a sign, and upon our seed for how long, sister? Forever. Until we turn back to God, it will be upon us forever. Well, how can a curse be on you forever if you get put to death? When you come back, the curses are waiting on you. You laugh and cry at the same time, don't you? I understand. Everybody go through it. When you finally understand what this book say, you break down because you realize it's bigger than you. It's always been bigger than you. It's bigger than your family. It's bigger than your nation. And you're only getting a glimpse into what the Most High God deals with any moment of the damn day.
You didn't get to that first.
Huh?
I should have got to that first.
He didn't open your understanding. That's all. Ain't nothing wrong with that. He didn't open your understanding. Because if it's meant for you to get it, you're going to get it. Right? See, a lot of people, when we read the Bible, they say this. And these are the worst words you can say when somebody's reading to you and giving you wisdom. I know. I know. You saying this, but I already know. I already read the Bible. I know. That's the worst thing you can say to anybody who's giving you knowledge. Because what if you don't know? Oh, I understand. But what if you don't understand? See? And I've read some of these things before. I knew you were getting some of it, but I didn't think you were getting all of it. But now I see that you've gotten a little bit more of it. And there's still more, sister. This whole book contains mysteries like that. This whole book. I'm going to read something to you right now.
I've been reading, and it's talking about the secrets.
Yeah, the Most High God. Remember I
And
said
the truth.
before. He reveals his secrets unto who? His servants, the prophets. See, our people are the only folks, the Israelites. We're the only people meant to understand this book. And with good reason. It was written to us. See, the heathen gonna say it's for everybody. They don't know what the fuck this book says. They don't have a damn clue. That's why they think you go to hell and you live under the ground and fire forever. Not understanding, ain't no such thing as hell. Hell means the grave in the Bible. Ain't no such thing as living in the sky forever either. You go to the same place when you die as the wicked and the righteous. That's in the book of Job as well. And they rest together. The servant no longer serves the master, and the master no longer rules over the servant. The wicked cease from troubling, everybody just rests. Now, I'm going to ask you, now that you get it, don't it seem so easy? Now that you get it, you ask yourself, how did I not get this before? Remember that I sound that's talked about in the New Testament? Most High God got to give you that I sound to see properly. See? This is all staged. The Most High God run all this. You gonna get it when you meant to get it. I'm gonna tell you, sister, a lot of our people ain't gonna get it until the very last moment. The very last moment that it's available. Because you gotta remember, they ain't gonna let me do this for much longer. See, they're already saying in Israel, they saying the problem that Israel faces, this is why they go into war, is young black men. They said that. One of their top female leaders said Israel's problem is
young black men. You know why she said that in spirit? God is coming from the tents of Judah first. That's why most of the people you see doing this are black people. The tents of Judah. They know who the problem is. It's us, because we're the real Jew. They're claiming to be Judah. Jew. But we're Judah. We can't both be Judah now, can we? So us waking up and saying that they the fake Jews and we the real ones, and we know where the other 10 tribes are the lost 10 tribes, that's a problem. And we know who the Benjamites are and the Levites are, right? So that's all of Southern Kingdom. And then the lost 10 tribes, that's the Hispanics and the Native Americans. So we got all the tribes together. So now we turn and asking them, where the other tribes at? So now, with prophecy unfolding, they trying to hold back prophecy. But you can't box with the Most High God. No arm's too short. So if they can't get with God, who they gonna get with next? It's you. That's how a murderer works. If you can't touch the target, you touch something around it. And that's exactly what they aim to do. But see, we're not worried about these bodies. You know why? Because we understand the scriptures. We understand death ain't got no power over us. You kill me, another 3 prophets will stand up. Why? Because the Most High God, that's how you made. We all back in the flesh. Some of us have grown old and died while doing this. And we sorely miss those elders. But if enough time goes by, guess who will be fresh on the line standing right next to me? One of the elders who died. He's going to be back, reading the Bible, reading for me, reading for another brother, passing out flyers, helping his people, serving his God. That's why God said, you ain't got no other way out. I am your Savior. Besides me, there is no Savior. That's why God said that. Because if death freed you from all this, then why the fuck are we still living, sister? For real, for real. All the suffering we go through. If death was a way to deliver us from all this, I'm sure I would have clocked out a long time. Seriously. I would have just clocked out. All I do is work, deal with problems. Whether it's my problem, somebody else's problem. 2 weeks ago, my dog died, man. And the same week my dog died, I had a cousin over there. I wasn't close with him. But death is in my family. Now my uncle, he got clots in both his legs. I don't know if they blood clots or what. But he got clots of some sort in both his legs. My mama dealing with that right now. That's her brother. Death is following all of us right now. But we understand the generation. We're going to do the same thing. Now, what did Christ say the truth will do to you? Set you free. Death has no sting. And that's why. Man, I love this damn Bible, man. I love this wisdom. That's why you have to serve God with fear and trembling. Because this understanding you just got, sister, he can take it from you. He can take it from you just as quick as you got it. That's why you got to serve him. Keep the commandments. Keep the commandments. Serve God the best way you know how. Keep the commandments. What commandments you learn about? Serve God. Every Friday and Saturday. And the only reason why I'm telling you Friday and Saturday is because a lot of times you don't see the new moon, right? Whenever the moon basically, you can't see it, that's a new moon, right? That's the Sabbath. That's the lunar Sabbath. But if you can't keep that Friday night to Saturday night, don't buy and sell. Don't cook anything. Don't work. Keep the Sabbath. Use it as a day to pray to. Yes, ma'am. No servile work. Right. That's all God asks you to do. Just serve. See, a lot of our people, they think serving God is hard, man. And it ain't. Most High God has reduced us to having nothing. So you can't keep the land Sabbath, and neither can I. Because I don't have any land to keep the Sabbath on. You see what I'm saying? Every 50 years, on the 50th year, I can't do the land Sabbath. See, you're
supposed to do it every 7th year, and then out of 7 sevens, and then on the 50th year, you're supposed to do another land Sabbath. Those are commandments. But see, we were screwing up so bad, the Most High God, like, okay, cool, I'm gonna take all that shit. So now you can only do the 10 commandments, basically. Basically, you can only do the 10 commandments. The whole book of Leviticus, almost the whole damn book, is talking about the laws of the Levitical priesthood. Not all of them, but a lot of them, right? Are talking about how around the tabernacle, certain tribes are supposed to be in certain areas of the tent. And that's by law. But guess what? We're scattered. We ain't even a nation right now. So how you gonna keep that one? Okay. So that's another law that you're under grace for. That's what grace is. Now you see why you need grace? It's a lot of laws you can't keep. You can't sacrifice nothing when you temple that. You can't do no Sabbath. You can't leave grapes on the inside of the closer to the plant where the thorns are for the homeless and poor, because you ain't got no field. You can't take your firstlings from your flock and sacrifice it to God and keep that commandment, because you ain't got shit. Most High God had to take everything for us to keep His commandments. And guess what? Most of us still can't do it. We think it's too damn hard. So now, if the Most High God has whittled it down to the point where you only got 10 commandments to focus on, and you can't do that, what's left? He got to kill your ass. That's left. That's all that's left. He's tried everything else. You had land to keep commandments on. You didn't want to keep it, so I took the land. You had a temple to give propitiations for your sins. You abused that, so I took that away. You didn't want to serve me, so I put you in the hands of your enemies. And I had to brutalize you, rape you, and do everything to you. You still don't want to serve me? Cool. So now I got to kill you. I got to bring you back. I got to judge you face to face. And give you a break. And then send you back to the dust. Now you see how it worked. You see how it worked. Now you see why also the lifespan of man has gotten shorter and shorter. How we used to live 900, 800 years. Now we live 120 max. And the Bible says you get 70 years. That's crazy right there. Everything that happened. Yeah. 70 years strong is what you're supposed to be. Everything else, that's it.
My grandma calls it borrowed.
There you go. Sister said it right. It's borrowed time. And here's the thing. A lot of people don't realize that borrowed time is a curse. Because think about it. You 90 years old. How many friends you got left? Did you outlive your children? That's a nightmare in and of itself. You're 90 years old burying your children.
And my grandma is that. And they had a heart attack. She lived to be a little. They had a heart attack. They broke her back. They broke her back.
Yeah. So the sister said something that I had to deal with my dog, right? We brought my dog into the vet's office, and when I brought her through the door, she collapsed in my arm. She collapsed. I felt it. I knew she was about to leave. We put her on the table and she shivered, and they take her in the back. She started having a cardiac issue. She was dying. They put her on the table, and I had agreed to CPR. So they started CPR, and they didn't bring her back. And I just asked, I was like, can I see her again? One more time, right? And while I'm looking at her, they're like, you want us to keep with the CPR? We can bring her back. And I said, let her go. Let her go.
Says, I'm tired. I'm ready to go do it.
Yeah. See, and you know what it's like being around real old folks. When you get that old where you go, man, just let my ass die.
Go.
Let me go.
Tired. That's what I want to be able to do.
So I'm coming back to make you feel better, but I'm in hate. My body don't work. I can't bathe myself. You just want Paw to be sitting in the corner with a blanket on him, losing weight, being miserable, seeing shit. Because, you know, my great-grandmother, before she passed, she was blind for 40 years of her life. But in her latter age, as she developed Alzheimer's and shit, She was seeing all types of spirits, all types of stuff. She was like, basically like, she was disassociating, and like she'd be talking to like people in another time. So when she finally had a chance to rest, I didn't really cry that much. So it was like, yo, my mother was home. She was ready to go. Let her rest.
In the basic part about it,
That's a blessing.
that's
Yeah, that's a blessing.
She did lose somebody.
Now, the crazy part about my great-grandmother, when she was in the nursing home, because they put her in hospice, right? Before she died, probably a couple of days, she had been blind for 40 years. She could see. Most High God gave her sight back for a couple of days. Oh, that's how God get down. You think God don't know about what you're going through? And here's the crazy part, right? So the day after my dog died, you know, me and my wife, we take it hard. We ain't got no kids. I was my little baby, right? I'm sitting at my computer and I doze off because I work from home, right? I doze off and I have a dream. And I'm sitting at my computer and my dog runs up to me. She's young again. All her teeth back. And I pet her. I feel she's in my hands. When I turned to my wife, she disappeared. She came back to let me know. She came home. Good. Go live your life. Go live your life. Go finish the work. Finish the work. I'm going to tell you, these animals know us as Israelites, we about to stand up and be our real selves again. Because they look at you like, man, you ain't back yet. When I go for my weighted walks, I wear a bunch of weights and walk around. When I walk near the deer, they don't run away from me. They be like close to me. They don't run away. They don't run away at all. Most animals, they look and they just go, you still a damn nigga. Because you got to remember, the Bible says all of creation groaneth. All of creation is waiting on the Israelites to restore balance to the planet. This is why you serve the Lord with fear and trembling. No excuses. If it costs you your life, keep serving. See, that's why we know that no matter what comes our way in the day to come or the days to come, deviating from our faith means you lost the game. That's the only way to lose is to give up. Take your hands away from the plow. What's the devil going to do if he your opposition? And the name of the game is to make you take your hands off the plow and stop doing work. He going to send everything at you to make you take your hands off. Because he can't touch you directly. See, you saw in Job, he got rules too. He can't slap the Bible out your hand every time you want to read it. He can't tell you, hey, don't go over there to that nigga. He can put it in your spirit. And he might do it in ways like, hey, you know that one time he talked to you that way? Let's fixate on that a little bit. Think about that. Make you angry, don't you? Angry enough not to go listen to him. And then before you know it, you ain't here no more. Now you back out in the world. Now all the breakthroughs you had, you start to lose. Because you don't know where to find them at. And instead of going back to the teacher and getting your cup filled back again, you go, fuck him, I'm gonna fuck him. So that's how it works, sister. That's why I serve the Lord with thankfulness. The Most High God ain't got no problem giving you the wisdom. It's what you do with it is the problem. That's why most of our people never do this wisdom. Just think about it. If you a wicked ass nigga want to do nothing but go out into the world, what worth is it to give you this information? Y'all got time for the Bible? A couple minutes?
Oh, there it is. Back, I get on my rewind.
Y'all good? Y'all good? Be safe, y'all. But see, now think about this, right? They walking past thinking we just talking about the Bible. But we're talking about some of the deeper sayings of the Bible. Now you know for certain that you come back life after
But
life.
we're talking about something that people think about. But
That's
like
true.
you know that death don't have to come.
Yeah. You have dreams that tell you death ain't got no power.
Man, oh man, and
It's hard to put into words. Now I do want to go to Genesis 6 because I want to dispel
Yeah.
that. I haven't forgotten. And then we're gonna go ahead and try to hang it up after that, right? All praises. All right.
Genesis,
6 and 4. It's like 6 and 4.
yeah,
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to that word giant in the not apocrypha. What am I thinking? The concordance or the lexicon. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Yeah, but
start from the beginning.
sure. I just want to bring up the word giant.
Okay.
Let's see.
But today, you know, we're not seeing many of them.
Yeah. All right. So this is Genesis 6 and 1.
And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God, who are the sons of God?
I was thinking the Son of God was here.
Right. So that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives, of all which they chose. So that tells you that they're not angels, because angels don't have sex. And how do you take a wife according to the Bible? Go in unto a woman, have sex with her. Right? When Jacob had Isaac and Rebecca, right? He took Rebecca into his mother's tent and made her, basically made her his wife.
Yeah,
That means he's second,
yeah.
right? So that means that this, whatever it's talking about here, it's not an angel. Because angels do not have sex. You have celestial flesh, and you have human flesh. Let me get that for you. I'll show you. It's in the New Testament. I'll go here. Yeah. See, that's why the Bible talks about the words of Paul being hard to understand. Got it here. It's 1 Corinthians 15:40. Alright, but let's see. Alright, so this is 1 Corinthians 15 and 39. All flesh is not the same flesh, but there is one kind of flesh of men, another flesh of beasts, another of fishes, and another of birds. There are also celestial bodies and bodies terrestrial, but the glory of the celestial is one, and the glory of the terrestrial is another. They're not the same. They're like different species. So you couldn't have a kid. Now, the reason why they tell you that means the angels of God came down and had children with the sons of men, then that means Christ can be born of an angel. And Joseph was not his father. Because how was Mary impregnated according to Christianity? By the Holy Spirit. But you know Joseph was Yahweh's father. Because Joseph was of the seed of David. The Bible doesn't tell you who married him. That's why at the start of that, what does it list? The genealogy of Yahweh, going all the way back to King David.
into Joseph. Now, that's how you know that it's a good tribe of Judah. And not to mention, how you determine your tribe in the Bible? By the seed of your father. So you mean to tell me right here, you're telling me that this is immaculate conception. They have the equivalent of Jesus Christ walking around in all these nations.
You know, a priest told me that.
I know. And guess what the priest was in the Christian church? Why do you think God says he dwelleth not in temples made with hands? In Acts 7 and 48. I believe in Acts 17, 24, you say it again. You have to say it twice. Some people hard headed. You don't listen. God dwelleth not in temples made with hands. Why you think you've learned more right here than you've ever learned in the church? God ain't it. And I'm not even a really good teacher. I'm just passionate.
And very nice.
I appreciate it. I do.
Very nice.
But see, that's why it's dangerous to go off of simply what it says. You have to get something verified by the mouth of how many witnesses in the Bible? 2 or 3. So if he says that these are angels, prove it. And watch him shut down everything. Prove it. Because God shows the secret to me. Who are the prophets? His children, the prophets. You're dealing with somebody in the Christian church. They might be an Israelite, but they might have the doctrine of their oppressor. That's why you can't just, oh, he's black, I believe in him. Because see, all you have to say is, so you're telling me that these are the same people as Jesus Christ who did hurt. Because the Holy Spirit is an angel, and he got Mary pregnant, and Jesus Christ was like, special because of that. Then how come they're not special? What happened to them? Why are they any less than Jesus Christ? They descend from the seed of angels. You see how crazy that is? And it's a question that he wouldn't be able to answer. That's why more times than not, when you ask questions in church, what do? They kick you out of church. It's not hard to confound the priest. It really is. That's why more times than not, and I can bet money on this. Out of every time you've gone to church, you've never had somebody stand up and go, hey, can you prove that? No, never. That has never happened. And that's why. Yep. See, when you realize that the Most High God is opening the doors for you to see and understand things, then you look back at the church and you realize it was a coffin. It was a dead thing. There was nothing in it. That's why I became an atheist. I was an atheist for like 10 years. Seriously. I didn't believe God or nothing. Because I came out the church. Ain't no God in the church. You mean to tell me this priest in here fucking everybody's wife, sleeping with kids, stealing everybody's money, pulling up in a Bentley while they go home on the bus, and God's with that man? I can't get behind that. And a lot of our people had that mind frame. So they walk away from the Bible when they should just walk away from the church. This ain't what they got a problem with. Because in the church, don't nobody read the Bible. I mean, really think about it. They read one verse, and then that priest tell you about his day. Man, I was driving to church, and the devil was getting over me, You know what I'm saying? Bullshit. Whole damn service. And when you finally wake up, you're like, yo, all I'm doing is giving this nigga money. I'm giving him money, and I'm bringing women for him to look over and approve or disapprove of. Because if a priest approve of a certain woman, some way, somehow, she will be sitting in that front pew. You know it. You see it every time. The sisters with the big ass hats, the form-fitting dresses, and the big asses, they be sitting in the front.
You know, man.
But it's true. It's true. I went to church in Memphis. I know that's how they get down in Memphis. Pastors don't even hide it, man. They be robbing the church of everything. See, she laughing because it's true, man. And it's true all over the earth, man. It's true all over the earth. You got a damn Chinese man over in China in a church having his way with everybody because they believe Christianity. Because they believe Malachi 3 and 8, that they're defrauding God if they don't get 10% of their earnings when you're supposed to get that to a Levitical priest, and they don't know that. So now he guilt tripping everybody into giving extra when in fact they shouldn't be giving nothing at all if they ain't giving it to a Levite. At the temple at that. It's supposed to be at the temple. You can't even give a tithe unless you're at the temple. Now you see how predatory this shit is? How dangerous Christianity has been to our people? Now you have gay casting.
How they will accept the women.
I mean, Sister just said something that I give her kudos for. She said she don't even accept the women being pastors, and that's true because they're not supposed to be, having authority over men in the church. They're not supposed to be ruling over men. And it's nothing that men set in motion. The Most High God said it that way.
Thank you.
That's why people think, oh, you just being a misogynist. No, I'm just doing my job as an Israelite. And I'm not trying to say anything of my own power. I want to come out the Bible. And if I'm wrong, rebuke me with the Bible. That's why I tell all these damn heathen, if Christ loves everybody, then prove it. If you prove it out the Bible, I'll change my doctrine right now. But I got news for you. You can't prove it because it would invalidate most of the Bible. God can't hate the same people who he wants to destroy and then give them a way out to just believe in his son and not change anything about their life. Oh, I accept Jesus into my life. Okay? Now, I'm going to keep doing shit out here. That's how these heathens think. But it's easy to fall for that because you get to walk away with a security blanket thinking God loves you no matter what you do. But when you read the Bible, you see that's not the case. God has standards. Right? But we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. All praises to the Most High God. Right? Sister, I think, is on an excellent track to start eating more solid foods in the Bible. That's how we said. Because you can only drink so much milk before, I got to start spoon feeding you some cereal. Cut you a piece of toast and put a little, not ham, but, some roast beef or something on there, Like, I got to give you something that's more complex. Because eventually she's going to have to teach women these things. She has to teach children these things. The men of the Lord, we can't be everywhere, and we're not ordered to be everywhere. We're ordered to be in the highways and byways. Some of us do a little extra. We'll try to come to your house, go door to door, might hand you a flyer or something like that. Try to see if you got time to go over the Bible. But for the most part, we're dealing with adults. The women, y'all get to deal with the kids. That's why our kids are so lost. Because our sisters don't have this knowledge to give them. To let them know you are your father. Just as you are your father. If you have a daughter, the children that you bear are his. Keep out the house. You're carbon copies of him. How they gonna grow up to be respectable adults if they don't have the source? So you have that knowledge. Now you can give it to someone else. That's the weight of this. Because when you find out, how does it go? If you hear something, say something. You've heard that. Reach one, teach one. Well, you done heard it. So if you hear something, when the time comes, say something. That's how it goes, sister. All praise. Glad you came back, man. I was wondering about y'all. I was worried. You and Ernest came back. Well, I was worried about y'all, man. For real, for real. I hope that brother Ernest come back, because I know his hang-up is he wants to know that history is in the Bible. And you know what? It's in here. And I'm going to show him. I'm going to show him the book of Maccabees, the book of Daniel. I'm going to show him, man. And hopefully he'll keep more commandments. I didn't see them zeets on him, but you know what? It's a work in progress, man. We'll get it. But let's read this last scripture, and we're going to get up out of here. All right? This is Revelations, chapter 22, and verse 14. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city. I like to punctuate this lesson by saying, Call Halal Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. That's all praises be unto Yahweh in the name of his son Yahweh Shai. Kwam Yasharallah, in death to America. All praises. Yeah, buddy.